I got the money and the power, both gyrating. Feels good, get that. What the hell? Oh no. I'm fixing my titles really quick. Couldn't try me in a tri-state. You couldn't try me in a tri-state. Got the money and the power. Both gyrate. Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan. Did Joe Rogan talk about the deportations yet? What is this? I did not see this at all.
Administration to revoke the legal status of potentially more than 500,000 immigrants currently living in the United States. This as we are learning more about the Venezuelans deported under the 18th century wartime law. I'm joined now by immigration reporter Camila Montoya Galvez to help us unravel all of this. First of all, Camila, let's start with 500,000. Remind us again what that program was supposed to do.
The Trump administration, John, is moving aggressively to dismantle President Biden's immigration legacy, and they are now in the process of terminating a process known as CH&V that was set up by the previous administration as a way to reduce illegal immigration at the U.S.-Mexico border by offering would-be migrants a legal and safe way to come here without the use of a smuggler and without the use of illegal entries into the U.S.
This did help, by the way. But if you're a Trump supporter or a Trump voter, you really don't care about legal immigration, so whatever.
About 500,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, and Nicaragua entered the U.S. under that process, which required American sponsorships from people who were citizens or legal permanent residents here. And in the next 30 days, their work permits and deportation protections will be lapsed and terminated by the Department of Homeland Security, which is warning that if these people do not voluntarily depart the country, John, they will be found, arrested, and deported from the country. In fact, the administration is saying that the people affected by this policy change should sign up to self-register on a smartphone app provided by the government and tell people that they will be departing the country.
Okay, tough to keep track of it all, but you've been keeping track, of course, of those Venezuelan migrants that have been sent to El Salvador. What more do we know about that group?
Well, not only have the deportations to El Salvador triggered this contentious legal battle here in the U.S., John, but also a debate about who was actually sent to that Central American country. The administration is saying that all the Venezuelan men it sent there, 238 Venezuelan nationals, are part of the notorious transnational gang known as Tren de Aragua. But we have spoken to relatives and lawyers of the deportees, and they are strongly refuting those claims, saying that their loved ones and clients have no criminal records in the U.S. or abroad, and that they are not affiliated with this vicious gang. And they have actually presented to us documents that do, in fact, confirm that many of these deportees do not have criminal records. I will say that some officials have said that some of them do have criminal records, so we should underscore that.
That's really good. That's really cool. That's awesome. This court will not be gaslit, bro. It will not be gaslit. Oh, I hate it.
Federal judges across the ideological spectrum are increasingly at their wits' end with the disingenuous, bad faith representations of the Trump-Musk administration in court. Today, one judge telling Department of Justice lawyers, and I'm quoting here, "I am not going to abide by government officials saying what they really mean to the public and coming in here to court and telling me something different, like I'm an idiot. The court is not going to be gaslit."
LOL.
A judge in another case concluding that the Doge team is essentially engaged in a fishing expedition at the Social Security Administration. Quote, "It has launched a search for the proverbial needle in the haystack without any concrete knowledge that the needle is actually in the haystack." Yet another judge displaying his frustration in a written order saying the government again evaded its obligations, giving a response that is woefully insufficient. That frustration spilling over into a hearing today with this same judge telling DOJ lawyers their filings have intemperate and disrespectful language that he never remembers seeing before from the government. Melissa Murray is a professor of law at New York University, co-host of the Strict Scrutiny podcast.
And I've been working through something where it's like, when you're making arguments about this, you need to be doing like 10% legal analysis and like, whoa. Open TikTok on my phone. It just attacks me. It needs to be like 10% talking about the legality of things, and probably like 90% making arguments and propaganda and narratives. If you spend enough time or too much time talking about checks and balances or the foundational pieces of our government that we put together to make our constitution and our institutions and everything that matters to America, that's a battle you're going to lose every time. Like every single time. Anyone that focuses too much on the legal part is losing, bro. Yeah.
Podcast along with Leah Lippman and my wife, Kate Shaw. She joins me now. Great to see you, Melissa.
Great to see you.
I just level set here. This is pretty uncommon for federal judges to talk this way about Department of Justice lawyers.
No, for sure. Department of Justice lawyers are typically repeat players before the courts where they practice, and these judges are used to a fairly high level of legal practice, which is why they can become so frustrated dealing with the very unorthodox responses that they're getting from the government now. So this is not surprising. These judges are used to a fair amount of deference, but they're also used to people who play by the norms, and this behavior is really far outside of the norm.
One of the things we saw the first time Trump around, particularly in this specific census case, which I'm not going to get into the details of, was basically what happened was the court was going, the Department of Justice lawyers would go into court and represent things that just pretty clearly weren't true. Like, they were kind of like lying about
Americans. They're helping you. How are they helping Americans? How is Trump helping Americans the most? They're not helping Americans at all. Trump and Musk have done nothing for any Americans whatsoever. Like, you cannot name one thing Trump and Musk have done for America. You cannot name one thing Trump has done for America. Guarantee you. Anyone can call into the show. You have the phone number. You have everything. Go to the short stream and like the short stream for me. Go like the shorts stream. Make sure you drop a like there, so we could get some viewers on there, get some people calling, hopefully. But yeah, someone just said that you can. Like, what? They're helping America the most? How? What did they do? Name one thing they did. Name one thing. One policy, one actual thing they did for the American people, bro. What did they do for the American people, bro? I have to do this. Nice. Come on, you have to tell me something. Like one thing they actually did for the American people.
About what had actually happened, what the government was up to, why it was up to, and ultimately
Ooh, Trump is caught in an extortion case.
Like extort.
We got him. We finally got him this time.
We're joined by someone who knows all about these issues and has warned about them in film and in politics.
Do I have anything to say about my own party? Yeah, my own party's not in power. I don't really care about parties. I don't really care that much about parties at all. We live in America, which has two parties mainly. But yeah, I mean, if we want to talk about Democrats, we can. For sure, man. We can talk about Democrats. We can talk about how Democrats actually have policies, at least. Maybe if Republicans had reasonable policies in any way, then Democrats would actually have better policies. But right now, Democrats are competing with no one as far as policies go, because you guys are just supporting whoever strokes your ego the most is gonna be your favorite candidate. Makes it pretty easy, right? Whoever is nice to me, I'm gonna support them. I'm really weak. I have to freaking post this TikTok. Link in bio. I'm trying to put a TikTok up. Beautiful.
Michael Moore, the Oscar-winning filmmaker, has campaigned in previous cycles with Bernie Sanders. He's, of course, an author.
Democrats are competing against themselves because they have no true leadership. Well, Republicans don't have leadership either. A cult of personality is not a leader. An authoritarian is not a real leader. Leaders don't need to do things that are illegal to get things done. A real leader does not need to just like be angry and wield with an iron fist to get things done. Real leaders can lead and help people that are like with them to understand the world better, so you can help, better your own communities. Real leaders don't need ultimate power. They can delegate responsibility. Drop a like on the stream, hit subscribe. You can call in, by the way. There's a phone number there. You can call in or join Discord to call in. If you want to talk about something, if you want to have a conversation about something, dude, feel free. Nice. What was Kamala's policy? Never leaving any wine in the bottle? See, I can't really tell you that because you don't know what the policies are, so I can list policies for you, but you won't know what they are. And considering you only know a meme about her drinking, you get all your politics from like Joe Rogan and Twitter, so I'm sure you don't really know what many policies are. I could teach you if you want, but I don't know if you will be able to take it very easily because you'll probably get really upset if I try to do that for real.
And a popular Substack columnist. Welcome back.
I want to be a popular Substack columnist, bro.
Where do you want to begin, Michael? Go ahead.
Journalism.
Wow. Well,
where do you want to
first of all,
begin? Where do you want to begin? That's journalism. That's how you do an interview. You say, where do you want to begin? That's easy job, bro. I'm gonna interview you. Okay, where do you want to begin? Nice. Make America gullible again. Yeah. There you go again, talking about Trump. Tell me why Democrats would be better. How can I tell you anything? How can I make any case to you? Someone needs to call in for me to make a case to you. I have to talk to someone. I have to wait till someone calls into the show, That's how it works. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for love here. No one's calling in. No one. No one, dude.
Hello. I saw your ad on YouTube. Why isn't your phone number active? If it's not going to be active, why post it on YouTube? Hello?
Wow, it's so sad. It's so sad. They need love. They need love. They need love. They're not calling in, though. What the hell?
It's great seeing Bernie and AOC out there across the country. And
Bet $1,000 the caller doesn't know a single policy. Well, yeah, they don't know a single policy. Last night, someone was really upset. And I'm like, do you know one policy that you want to talk about? He's like, I don't know what policies are. Ooh, someone called. Hi, buddy. Howdy. He hung up on me. Why did you call if you're going to hang up on me? If you're going to hang up on me, why would you call the stream?
it's starting to feel,
Why would you call?
I don't know, out there across the country. And it's starting to feel, I don't know, I should say this, it's way too early to talk about 2028 yet. Everybody's thinking about what we're going to do next year. I believe that Alexandria will be 35 by Inauguration Day in January of 2029. And perhaps...
Wait, how old is she now? How old is AOC right now? AOC's 35 now. AOC's 35 now, dude.
Historians will see this tour where Bernie...
Illegal immigration policy. Policy number 1. That's not a policy, bro. That's not a policy. That's not how that works. We could talk about policies. That's not a policy, though.
And AOC barnstormed the country. Oligarchy versus democracy. And that introduced the idea of we need a whole new person, a kind of person in the White House that is going to fight for the people. And while Bernie may think, well, maybe by 2028 he's going to be too old, you can see just how not old he is. It's just been amazing to watch.
I feel like I agree.
Call from
Forrest.
Howdy.
Yo, what up?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's your night treating you?
Pretty good. Just sat my butt down in my computer chair for 5 hours. Or I mean, I'm at the start of 5 hours. But yeah, what's up?
Word. No, I just like came across your stream. I called, and you're like, "Why would you call?" And then I called you back, and you didn't answer. That was me. My bad.
It's okay. It's yeah. It's a fake phone number, so I forget when I call back. It is a random number, and people usually don't remember what
No,
number's gonna be calling them back.
actually, it kicks back to the same exact phone number, which is funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So full disclosure, I had a little bit to drink, not drunk, but yeah, and like total Trump supporter, Republican, conservative dude. Maybe not a Trump supporter, but I'm curious because you keep talking about policies and stuff like that, and I'm kind of curious where you're coming from the policies that you support and like from what is not happening right now.
So I'm really against corruption and against like big companies having monopolies. And a capitalist would be as well. So like Teddy Roosevelt was a progressive Republican. His big thing was coming in during the Gilded Age in the 1900s and breaking big companies because they had too much power, and that was taking away freedom from people. So I'm in favor of policies like that, that rein in big companies and give power to workers. And Biden did a lot of policies like that. He empowered our National Labor Board. His FTC did a lot of really good things. Lena Khan as well, and the federal government is someone Biden appointed to get rid of like a bunch of junk fees from corporations, agencies to police corruption. Biden banned his like cabinet from taking big money donations from random people, which is really good for like preventing corruption. And Trump like rolled back all of those rules when it comes to when it comes to his presidential like his cabinet, his administration. Trump made it legal again for his people to take bribes essentially, and Biden made that illegal through executive order. So policies like that from like an economic perspective, from economics and corruption, Trump's also not going to enforce any anti-corruption mechanisms in the government. So those are a big thing for the economy for me.
Okay. Do you have any critiques for Biden? Like anything you're like, I don't like that.
Biden should have taken a much stronger stance against stock trading in Congress. At the very end, he said it. He's against it. He thinks it should be banned. Like, okay, great. You're walking out the door and you're saying that.
What should be banned? I'm sorry.
Stock trading, trading stocks if you're a member of Congress, because it could be a conflict of interest. So I wish he would have went harder on issues like that. His messaging sucked. Like Donald Trump right now is messaging and saying that he did the infrastructure plan. Biden actually did, but Biden never took credit for anything that he actually did in government. And most of your job as a president, I could argue, is like how you speak and what message you portray. And if the American people don't understand what you're doing and how you're doing it, so.
Yeah, so like I'm a Trump supporter for sure. I don't know enough to have a like actual argument with you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I have a policy master's and everything, so I have too much policy in my brain. So I mean, if there's any questions you have, or just like in particular, like things Trump says that might make sense or might not make sense or whatever it might be.
Well, and too many rules came in the way of creativity or change. But I will say that while I personally believe and experience like Trump's benefits as president and like economic gain while he is president and stuff like that, I will agree that not the most presidential figure, and like having a crass businessman run the business of a country doesn't reflect well, but sometimes can be good for the country. So.
Yeah, just in concept, I would never want a business person to run the country because a government is supposed to be the other side of a business because private interests are often going to conflict with things like human rights. So think of slavery, think of factories, think of child labor,
for sure.
That kind of stuff. So I never want a businessman to run the country because a businessman makes as much money for themselves as possible. They do huge amounts of fraud typically. They steal information from people. They do wage theft and a bunch of other crazy stuff. And like you would never want America around like a business because that means people at the bottom, the people that are working class, usually the policies are going to be against them, whatever benefits whoever's at the top the most. And I just don't like that mentality in government. It should be the opposite of a business, I would say.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you if you frame it that way. But I think most people are framing it in a way of, we are, at the end of the day, as a country, an entity that needs to be managed properly, and that entity needs to curb its spending. It needs to fix its debt and move forward, and kind of be a dick where we would like not to be, but be a dick to be like, hey, we got to save money, we got to cut costs here and do all that stuff. And so while I agree with you that if we take the form of a crass capitalist businessman who's only in it for himself or his profit margin, that's fine. But if we take that same person and put them in charge of our country, and what they care about is our country's profits, gains, decline, stuff like that, I think that's a good thing that the country hasn't had in a while, where we care about actually balancing out the debt.
Well, Trump is the worst president you can talk about for the debt. Like, Trump added more debt than Obama and Biden. He added most of our debt. Even before COVID, he added tons to the deficit. He never cares about spending or about reining in revenue. And, like, he fired a bunch of IRS agents. And IRS agents, hiring them, I think, returns $10 for every $1 we spend on them. So it's going to lose billions of dollars in revenue and allow the ultra-wealthy to evade taxes. And, like, just in general, we go into more deficit spending with Trump as president. And all the Doge stuff is basically fake. Like, they're not going after... Like, I mean, it's completely just a... Oh, no, it's a fake... Doge is a completely fake thing. And the cuts they're making are, like, they're cutting phones. You can't call in for Social Security. That's not going to change anything about the budget. That's just being an asshole and trying to kill Social Security and make it like a service that kind of sucks. And this is the first time in American history that Social Security missed payments to people. So it's like they're not really going after the budget. That's a fake thing they message on. They're not helping the country economically, where we're actually like declining right now. Our growth outcomes for this year, our forecast is going to be like 1/5 of what it was going to be under Biden. So like it's like there's not one thing he's done in the second term that makes me think he likes America or wants America to do good.
Shell, yeah, cool. So hold up, I'm pulling up my notes here. So like I'm into I really like learning about stuff. I would like to know who you would recommend for me to go listen to, get different information from,
So one YouTube channel I'd look up is Legal Eagle. Legal Eagle's a lawyer, and he goes through all the legal stuff that the administration is doing, and goes through like step by step in like the illegal attempts at like subverting the Constitution and courts. So that's where I would go legally. Economically, that's hard. You mean like for economics or what, for the budget or?
I mean, like generally, like if you were to be like, hey man, you listen to the Daily Wire, you listen to this bullshit, like come listen to this shit.
That's a hard question.
So we got Legal.
I like Secular Talk for progressives. He's entertaining, but he's off the cuff. But he's a funny guy.
Okay.
Secular Talk's really funny. He's a really funny guy. No, he's actually hilarious. But yeah, I'd recommend Secular Talk. I think he gives a more chill version of politics that's not super wordy and not super really policy specific. I think Secular Talk is really cool. He's probably the first YouTuber I watched on here. But yeah, Secular Talk, and if you want a more like legal breakdown, Legal Eagle for sure. But honestly, I don't like many of the left people, like the left people on media or the right people. So I can't really say much. I mean, like the Daily Show can be entertaining with Jon Stewart, but there's not anyone that really comes out to me super aggressively as someone that's super good to watch. But yeah.
Well, hey man, it's been really fun talking to you. Your feed shows up every once in a while, and I'm like, he seems cool, reasonable. I'll talk to him. So
I'm not. I'm just kidding. No, I appreciate you calling in. One day when you're you want to get some notes together, and you can get extremely drunk and call in. All right.
Well, I won't be doing that. I had a little bit of liquid courage. But yeah, man, you're super cool. I think we disagree on some things, but I'm not as well educated to actually have a viable conversation.
You know what? I really
but
appreciate that. Like, I mean, and that's not even like I hate when people get upset about this kind of thing because I would never walk into a mechanic and be like, you guys don't know what the hell you're doing. Like, you're doing shit wrong without actually having information, you know? And people do that a lot with politics and, you know, being able to hear other people out is a big deal. And I mean, even in your personal life, just hearing people out instead of just like latching out and putting holes in walls or screaming at people is always going to be beneficial. So I really do appreciate that. I appreciate the call and everything.
Yeah, for sure. No, my family is very well divided between conservatives and not conservatives and like different things, and they all still love each other. Like you can disagree and have discourse and learn from the other side. So, but yeah, appreciate you, dude. I hope you have a great night.
All right, thanks. You too, man. Have a few more for us. All right, have a good one.
All right, take care, bro.
These raging alcoholics keep calling in the show, dude. Okay, someone else call in, please. Please call in. Please, I'm lonely. I really am lonely. I'm a lonely liberal. Your information algorithm is observed. Trans men fought in the Civil War. What does that statement mean to me? Someone said that in the comments. What was that statement mean for me?
Call from
Christian.
Howdy.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going all right. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I was just scrolling through YouTube, saw your little thing, thought I'd call.
All right, sounds good. What do you want to talk about?
Well, let's talk DEI. What do you want to talk about with DEI?
I would say that DEI is a good thing. Actually a really good thing. And that when people talk about DEI, they're not talking about what DEI actually means. And the thing they think is happening with like quotas or people being unqualified and getting jobs over people who are qualified is a different thing from DEI, and that's also happening at a very like small rate. So that's usually what I mean when I talk about like DEI.
So it doesn't happen on college campus either?
No. I'm saying DEI is different from like affirmative action you could be against, but DEI is not affirmative action. Like, you know, like affirmative action can be like, okay, we think these groups are underprivileged, so we're going to take a group and like increase that amount on campus.
I'm not against lower income communities getting more funding for their schools and stuff like that. But
yeah, that's DEI.
I agree with Trump's policies of bringing it to the states, because obviously throwing more and more money into the education system over the years. And if you look at the test scores over time, like third graders test at a third grade level, you go to a ninth graders can't test at a ninth grade level, and it gets worse and worse. And it's just an indoctrination point. Like I'm kind of with the right. I'm really with the right on most of their policies. I would say the Ukraine issue, Russia issue, I'm not. Maybe Putin is really bad, but like Putin doesn't have the means to mess with the USA, and he doesn't have the means to really mess with any NATO country because of our allegiance with each other. But NATO does drain the USA. I understand we are a world power, but there are other competing world powers, and we cannot constantly just, throw our money at these other NATO countries, especially ones that don't really see eye to eye with us, like ones that, not saying all Muslims, because I don't think all Muslims think this way, but there is a large portion of the Muslim community that still supports the Muslims that do think that way.
Okay, we should probably like pick a couple of these and focus on them so you can have conversations about them.
I'm sorry.
You're good. I know you're rattling off different opinions, but like on DEI, what Trump rolled back at the federal level has nothing to do with any companies or like what they do, and that's probably what you're mad about if a company chooses to do something like advertisement or whatever. But the things he rolled back are civil rights era protections, so like you cannot be discriminated against. It's not anything in the government saying you need to hire certain races. It's just saying you need to hire equal opportunity employment.
You're saying that if a company was to not hire somebody because of the color of their skin, that they can no longer be legally in any way tried for that.
He's making it much more
difficult. That person cannot take them to court and win.
No, there's still the Civil Rights Act and things like that, but it's much more difficult. So, like for federal workers or for federal agencies, discrimination can be more of a thing now.
Do you think that's a true issue in today's age? Like, do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
The black community is still underprivileged to that point, like that they can't, like, people who come up in circumstances have a choice. You know, two people raised in the same situation.
Just number one, thinking DEI is only black people is a big thing that like MAGA or Trump shares. Because that includes veterans. They're firing a lot of veterans. That includes poor white people from rural areas too. Like I would not, for example, me myself. I grew up in a very poor family with a lot of opioid addiction and alcoholism and suicide and overdoses. And I came from a very poor position in life, with like social workers in my family making shit wages. I would not be anywhere that I am now without DEI policies. And that helps me as a white person from rural America. So like those policies help me compete with the billionaires that I roomed with in college. I knew a billionaire that lived on Lake Geneva in Switzerland.
I work at a college university and I see the mixture of people that are there, but it seems like there are definitely people from other countries that get preference because they have money. And
there's connections that universities want to have globally. Money, I agree money's a big issue, but DEI is not. The big issues with legacy admissions is money, and people that have a lot of money. It's the haves and have-nots. It's nothing to do with race. DEI just makes things more equal. Affirmative action you could argue against, but like I said, DEI just means equal opportunity. It means that we're going to give our job applications to every community. So now the federal government does not need to advertise jobs to black communities if they don't want to. They can pick which communities and which racial groups they want to advertise to. I'm not saying that happens or it's going to happen, but I'm saying that they took away rules that we did in the 60s, during the civil rights movement.
There's also the media for those situations where if you have something like that happening, you don't think the media would be on that in an instant.
Well, the media is, but we need the legal system and the government to back it up, or it doesn't matter.
If somebody gets cut, a well-known business, say Chick-fil-A, decides they're only going to hire people of, certain race or certain, background, like income levels and stuff like that, they'll catch on to that. People will catch on to that, and it wouldn't be good for that business.
Well, like for example, like Elon Musk business. I mean, I agree, but these laws on the book reinforce the idea that people will be protected everywhere in America, and they took back these laws for no reason. Like they rolled back protections from people, equal opportunity protections. They said it's about meritocracy. They blame plane crashes on DEI with no evidence. Like there's no reason they needed to roll back DEI. DEI is a good thing. And the idea that people are not qualified getting jobs that's not a thing. People that have a lot of money get jobs when they're not qualified, but it's not based on like a skin color. And some organizations probably do that somewhere. But when it comes to the laws on the book and the federal government, there's no reason to roll back DEI policies at all.
I hear somebody talking about trans people, and that's another situation right there. Sorry, I hear it on the phone. Actually, I guess you're playing a little bit behind me. But anyway, yeah, with the trans issue, like I don't think women or men should compete in women's sports.
Okay, I just need to stay on one topic with you for a second, because like when we talk about DEI, it's like Jackie Robinson was in the news. And people said it was insulting for Jackie Robinson to be called a DEI hire.
I don't know who Jackie Robinson is.
He's the first ever black baseball player, basically. I mean, not first ever black baseball player, but the first ever black person allowed to play with whites in the professional league, not in the Negro league that they had in the MLB. So like Jackie Robinson is really good at baseball, and he was a DEI hire. And like Jackie Robinson shows why DEI hires are it's not a pejorative. It's not a bad thing. These are, people from these underprivileged communities, whether it's poor rural white, whether it's poor urban black, whether it's poor rural black, especially in southern states. We're giving a chance for everyone from every community to be successful. We're giving a chance for everyone to have a chance at success. Like, Fortune 500 CEOs are still 1% black, when it comes to managers and CEOs and business owners and overall wealth in America. All I'm trying to say is when Trump demonizes DEI and says that DEI is making everyone hire these really unskilled workers and all that kind of stuff. He's like, that's why people call him racist, because it's bullshit. Like the idea that DEI is making them hire people who are not qualified is bullshit.
But how much money do you think our government was spending on it? And do you think that, maybe we start, even if we didn't abolish it, it would make sense to maybe back off some of those? If we think we're progressing, I think we're progressing. I don't think that as far as what we looked at in the 60s and what we look at in the 2000s, like we are much more overall, there's less racial issues. It's just there's a whole lot more media coverage trying to push the racial issues.
Well, I mean, when you call DEI a bad thing in general, you're going to make it a race issue. When you say like plane crashers are because of DEI pilots who just can't handle the computers or whatever, like we barely spend any money on DEI. DEI just means equal opportunity. There's some programs with like the Department of Education that has some funding, like $1 billion, but it's a super small amount of money with the federal budget, and that's, like I said before, helping poor whites, helping veterans, helping disabled people, like helping all these different groups. It just helps people who are disadvantaged, like regardless of skin color or religion or sex.
Yeah, I hear you. And
I don't know why Trump makes it a big issue, because it just seems a little bit weird.
Okay, I can see there could be other, maybe the way that DEI was formed and how it was, I watch Charlie Kirk, so I'm just, going based off what he says too is, DEI has a lot of good ideas in its roots, but when you implement it on a federal level, that's when it becomes abused.
But there's a reason he can't give one example of that. There's a reason he can't give like a data set or like actual facts about it or a policy gone bad. He can't do that because he just needs to talk about DEI being a bad thing. Like I hear Charlie Kirk talk about it, and his arguments are all. I mean, there's a reason he debates only college students. There's a reason he goes on college campuses and debates like freshmen in college and never actually debates someone with like worth their shit. There's a reason he runs away from those kind of conversations.
I mean, the professors get up there and he usually does pretty good against them too. But
well, it's easy to spread propaganda. If I could talk to Charlie Kirk, I'd kick his ass easy. Like he brings up the dumbest shit ever. Like I mean, he might look good in conversations, but he's manipulative. Like I could bring up all these stats from like.
Do you not the border was an issue under Biden, or no?
If the border was an issue under Biden, I feel like Republicans would have passed the border bill.
Terrorists who made it into our country weren't a problem, and like who got released back into our country.
You're kind of debating like Charlie Kirk, where you don't stay on one topic and you have to bring up a bunch of different ones.
I'm just moving away from DEI. I'll submit to your DEI could have good places, okay? But I don't submit to the whole left wing, like the way that it's been pushed. Because I grew up a Democrat. I grew up poor in a trailer, a Democrat. Just it sounds like me and you probably had similar childhoods. But even in my granddad's like old age, like me and him would argue because he was just so diehard Democrat. But I'd seen the way the left was shifting from what Democrats were in the early 2000s.
Well, Democrats in the 2000s talked about DEI a lot, so I mean they were very supportive of DEI. Even George Bush was in favor of it. So
they didn't have men going in women's bathrooms and competing in women's sports, and they didn't have in early 2000. Joe Biden said if you get caught with more than a penny size of crack cocaine, you will go to prison. No ifs, ands, or buts. But his son, gets pardoned, even though he gets caught with crack cocaine and all this stuff that's on his laptop, And then we find out the pardon's not even written in Joe Biden's actual handwriting.
Hunter Biden's pardon was written in his handwriting. And by the way, Trump signed every January 6th pardon with an auto pen, just so you know.
And I mean, I don't.
But Charlie Kirk won't tell you that. Charlie Kirk will not tell you that because he does not want you to know actual information about this shit at all. I know bad things about Biden. I know bad things about Republicans. But if you follow Charlie Kirk, he's never going to tell you one bad thing about Donald Trump. He's not going to tell you one thing about the administration that's bad.
To that,
To which one? You keep on bringing up like 25 topics. Pick one
the
topic.
Border or transgender. Let's go there.
Okay, so I support trans people, especially trans adults, having rights to gender affirming care, and I support social care for trans people as well. So respecting people, even if you don't agree with it, respecting people, what they want to be called, okay, at a very base level. And I think when we talk about sports, there should be some type of rules for athletics in the high school and college levels. There should be no rules at all below 14. No,
Every Democrat.
They voted against. Okay, they voted against one bill.
Every Democrat present voted against the bill that Trump executively signed, saying women could not compete in men's sports.
I don't think it should be banned everywhere. Okay, I don't support the big government authoritarian legislation that they wanted to pass because, like I'm saying right now, co-ed sports in general are a thing. Hey! I want you to think for a second. No, stay on one topic, just because they want you fragmented with your brain. Like, just think for 1 second. Okay, so do you understand? Like right now, we have co-ed sports that are U14, so 14 and under, and we have co-ed sports in college, for example, for intramurals.
Sure.
It's like men and women playing together, boys and girls playing together.
Yeah.
So if we ban all sports at all when it comes to men and women, okay, or boys and girls, that means co-ed sports cannot be a thing anymore. That means many different, like, that means, like, no one cares about 14-year-old. Yes, it does. The actual bill they were going to sign, the bill they were going to sign is very restrictive. The big government, but you did not read the bill. Okay, the bill was very restrictive. It was big government authoritarianism. I don't want the big government making decisions on that. And I don't know why Republicans are okay with the big government when it comes to trans people, but they're not okay with the big government when it comes to limiting banks and corruption. So like when we talk about that issue, I just want to respect people. It's hard for people to talk about in public.
I don't have any ill intention, towards the trans community. I don't. But
like Trump right now is saying it's child abuse, or they're saying you should be arrested. You should be arrested if you even talk to kids about like that being gay is a thing, for example. You can't even tell a kid being gay exists without getting arrested.
Talk about sex to kids. That should be a parental thing for one. And
so are you saying there should be no
in school?
Are you saying there should be no high school health classes at all?
There shouldn't, no.
Okay, I disagree. Because that makes more kids get raped. That means more kids are going to be sexually assaulted. That means more kids are going to be pregnant and have STDs because kids are going to start having sex when they're 13 or 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, especially if they have a bad home life. And I want kids everywhere to have access to the proper care and knowledge they need to keep themselves safe. I want kids to know how to keep themselves safe.
I think the Republicans are doing good by getting rid of, like, if you look at states that are
Republican states have the highest rates of teenage. Okay, Republican states have the highest rates of rape. They have the highest rates of STDs. They have the highest rates of teen pregnancy. They have the highest rates of women dying giving birth. So I wouldn't go up Republican states for this.
Which cities inside these states are the crimes being committed?
I just talked about. Wait, okay, listen.
It's not the Republican city.
Listen, we're talking about should kids have access to information on how to keep themselves safe with a high school health class. And what I just said is red states have higher rates of rape. They have higher rates of predators. They have higher rates of kids getting pregnant. They have higher rates of STDs because they don't give access to general knowledge to kids. They don't help kids that have shitty home lives. And I want kids everywhere to have access to information that can keep themselves safe.
Okay, in regards to our school systems also, like the grading situation, why, if we spend more money per student than any other country in the world, are we constantly having lower test scores?
We don't send that much money to... Okay, so our test scores are terrible in red states. Red states have terrible literacy rates. All the worst states education-wise are red states because they underfund education terribly. The teachers don't have resources. They have huge classroom sizes. They have very low standards for education. Blue states lead in education. They lead in literacy. They lead in every category. The Department of Education helps red states and helps poor areas stay up to par with extra funding that rich areas already have. So, like, that's the point of the Department of Education. But in general... The idea that the red states have an issue with education. Blue states are leading.
I'm fact checking that, but I see that you are right about it. Yes, and it's leaning slightly, so it's not like it's. And even if you count that, you got to consider the cities. You got to look at the cities and what they're voting. Because if you look at Tennessee, for instance, you look at Memphis and you compare that to a rural school like outside of Nashville, you're going to get a whole lot different test scores.
Just in terms of states, though, blue states have the biggest cities by far, and they lead in test scores. And like Washington D.C., by the way, has one of the highest literacy tests or literacy scores for kids. So Washington D.C. has extremely good test scores, and it does skew to blue states.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't really listen to Republican politicians on this topic for that reason.
I didn't have anything wrote down for this. I'm just going all off the top of my head here.
No, you're good. It's just weird because Trump cites like Sweden. He brings up Sweden and Norway and China and all these countries that have big government. They have big government education and they lead the world in education. And Trump says we're going to be more like them, but we're going in the opposite direction of those countries. So what he says there makes zero sense.
I think what he says with like letting the states control that, so that at least give the power to the states briefly, momentarily, and you figure out which states are going to handle it well, and then
we already have those numbers.
Those states,
we already have those numbers. We already have that.
And then also like with the Department of Education, they attacked parents, who were trying to take care of their kids. They didn't want to give gender affirming care to their kids, or they didn't want their kids wearing COVID masks, and they would be kicked out of the school board meetings. The school boards are paid by American citizens, so to do that to American citizens, of course, you're going to create this giant.
The Department of Education doesn't do whatever you just said. They don't do that from the Department of Education. They just help give out grants to poor areas. No, they don't. They don't do that kind of stuff. They don't lead curriculum anywhere. They don't Charlie Kirk will probably lie to you about this, but they don't. They do grants and stuff.
There's plenty of actual evidence of like videos that you can watch where parents are, showing demonstrations like with the mask mandate, that if you go down into a tunnel, a man tunnel, you have to wear this oxygen sensor, and if it gets below a certain level, then you have to leave all your tools, everything, and get out of that tunnel. And you have to stop work. But, he puts on a COVID mask that, is required, and puts the oxygen sensor in this COVID mask. And it immediately, within like a couple minutes, started beeping. So, it's unhealthy to wear a mask all day long. So,
it's not really unhealthy to wear a mask, a regular COVID mask all day long. It's not really bad for you. But either way, the Department of Education does not do any of that. They don't go after parents or do any mask mandates or do any education or curriculum. They just give out grants to poor areas.
They did do that.
No, they don't. They did not do that. I'm sorry. They just don't do that. That's not their job.
Okay.
Like mask mandates were done on a state basis.
I disagree that they definitely did try to postpone opening schools because people in the Department of Education fought and said that they would not allow kids to come back without masks. Which sure, kids are.
But the federal Department of Education did not do that. Like the states make those decisions. They just did not do that.
The states
they don't have jurisdiction to do that. I'm sorry, but they don't do that. They do grants and loans and stuff. They just help poor areas get grants and stuff.
Do they pick the books that go into the libraries?
No, that's also not them. They just help poor areas have more funding.
Who picks the books that go into the library?
Either local areas do or the states do.
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate the call. I'm gonna go to another person, but I do appreciate the call.
Sure.
I think you have a good night. That was okay. Okay. I'm restarting my short stream. I don't like the algorithm so far. Trash. I'm restarting my short stream. You can come back. Come back to it then. I'm restarting it if you're hearing this. I'm restarting the short stream, guys. Restarting it.
Call from
Steven.
to accept.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Howdy, what's up?
I was just streaming through YouTube and came across your podcast and figured after I saw a little bit of it, I'd kind of call in, just give my opinion.
Alright, sounds good. What do you want to talk about?
We ain't gonna really talk about a whole lot. I kind of got a question for you, my friend.
Sure.
With all you say that you come across as you're right about everything. Everybody that calls in is incorrect, or just the way you kind of demean them. They're stupid, they're redneck, aka Magna.
Wait a second. No, I like rednecks. I like rural
Let me
areas.
finish
I like
my
rural
statement.
areas. I support rural areas and farmers. Don't talk shit about that.
Let me finish my
Nah,
statement.
MAGA's not farmers. I
No.
know farmers. They're not all MAGA. Trust me.
Anyway, if you know so much about everything in the government and everything that should be done, then why don't you run for office? Why don't you do something as opposed to run a podcast that you have absolutely zero donations on at the moment? Like, can you answer that question? You know so much, but what are you doing? You're just stirring the pot. That's it.
You know what? You just inspired me. I'm running for Congress. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. You inspired me. Thank you so much.
I will look forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
that.
Thank you, sir. No, thank
What
you. You
state
really
are
just
you
gave
out of,
me.
by the way?
I'm out of
What
America.
What state are you out of?
God bless America. What do you want to talk
What
about, man?
state
What do
are
you want
you
to talk
out of?
about? What do you want to talk about?
I just told you what I wanted to talk about. I said I wanted to make a statement. Only thing to talk about. I'm asking you, what state are you out of? What congressional district are you going to run out of?
All of them, bro. I'm gonna vote for myself 1,000 times, bro. I'm in Pennsylvania.
See again, you just.
I'm gonna do voter fraud. I'm gonna do massive voter fraud.
You're condescending. You talk down.
Can
to
you stop
people
whining, bro?
don't.
You realize you're whining for around
I'm
like 20
not
minutes right
whining.
now.
I'm
Yeah, you are.
stating
Okay, you just made
facts.
the most whining voice in the world right there. You hear that that shrill feminine voice you just used? I'm not whining.
Dude,
Okay, let's talk about some shit.
no
Let's talk about
shrill
some
in my
politics.
fucking
Let's talk
voice.
about some policies or some opinions you got. Like, I know you have some opinions. You don't just have whining abilities. Come on, bro. I know
Dude,
you're not.
yeah,
You're not a newborn.
I've watched part of your podcast. You have insight on all these policies. You went
Yeah, I
to
do.
school and you have insight on all this shit because you studied it. The average individual goes to fucking work. They deal
I agree.
with their kids.
I agree, which
They
is why it's even
come
more
home.
disgusting. Trump
They don't
lies to
deal
them.
with shit like
It's why it's even
this
more disgusting. Trump
all
lies to them.
day
Yeah, I
long.
agree. That's why
And
Trump
the
won,
fact
because Trump
that
lied
you
to those
wanna
people.
talk
Are
down
you
to
still gonna
them,
keep whining? Stop whining, my brother.
I'm
Talk about
not
some shit going on in your
whining.
life. No,
I'm
you are whining.
aggravated.
Stop. Yeah, I know you're aggravated. Stop being so mad. Go drink something. Go have a coffee or something. Wake up. Chill. What do you want to talk about?
Well, now I want to talk about the fact that you just talk down to people.
Are you
dude.
gonna
I
whine
mean,
even
like,
more now? You want to?
and
Okay,
the
now you want to
fact-
talk about how you want to whine more. Do you want to talk about the topic or not?
No,
You only
I
have the
really
ability
don't.
to complain. You can only complain. Is that what Trumpers do now? You
no,
can only complain about
I
things.
have the ability to be, again, you know.
You're a commentator. You're a commentator, bro. You're a commentator. You
Again,
could be on
you're
ESPN.
always right.
You could be on
You talk
ESPN.
down to people
I can't
to the
be
point
right. Okay,
where-
I can be right in terms of I'm not whining, you are. So I am right about that. But you can be a commentator like Stephen A. Smith on ESPN talking about LeBron James or something, or Skip Bayless. You could be a good commentator, bro. Sunday morning or Monday morning quarterback. Thank you.
Or like Stephen A. Smith wanted to go into a debate with Trump, J.D. Vance, you know, everybody.
I guess so.
They wanted
You know, that's who you're comparing yourself to. So you think that would stand up?
No, I said
think
you are. I said
Stephen
you could
A.
be a
Smith would
commentator.
stand up in a debate with Stephen A. Smith?
Stephen A. Smith is going to debate Stephen A. Smith? What the hell?
I misspoke. I'm sorry. You think
It's okay.
Stephen A. Smith would hold up in a debate with President Trump, Vice President Vance, and the head of our Defense Department, Pete Hegseth?
Yes, 100%. Maybe not JD Vance, because JD Vance is a liar too, but he's very sly.
God damn, you're fucking ridiculous. You are a fucking far less fucking left-wing nut job. You're one of those motherfuckers out there blowing motherfucking
True.
pencils up and shit.
Yeah,
You
dude.
think
No, actually,
that's
no.
all right?
I do not do
Fuck
that.
you,
No,
dude.
I think it's
I
bad.
hope
Don't do that.
somebody finds your ass and puts a SWAT on you, motherfucker.
Actually,
Just
no.
like all y'all are doing.
I'm against that.
Fuck
I am against that.
yourself.
Okay, thank you, sir. That's a totally normal reaction. Have a great night. God bless America. That guy was beautiful. I hope he's having a great night. I hope he questions why his kids no longer talk to him. I'm guessing he has kids. Probably not, actually. No kids he met, but okay. All right. Someone else. Someone else call in. There you go.
Call from
Jack.
Howdy.
Hello.
Hi, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too bad. You had on the screen during the short stream, let's talk about DEI. So, and I heard you, I think I was listening to the stream the other day when you said we shouldn't buy from companies that do DEI, or that canceled their DEI program.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We should support companies that keep DEI because that means they're having fair hiring practices, yeah.
How is that fair hiring processes when you're hiring based on race?
Because DEI does not mean hiring based on race, and if you believe that, you're being lied to.
Why does it not mean hiring based on race?
Because it's equal opportunity employment. It's not anything based on, race. It's actually the opposite. So DEI was initially done in the 1960s during the Civil Rights Movement to prevent from racial discrimination based on race. Racial discrimination or gender or religion or any type of discrimination. It's the opposite of bias.
Wouldn't you, at least the way I think about DEI is that it's essentially like the employment form of affirmative action. Would you agree with that characterization?
No, affirmative action is categorically a completely different thing from DEI.
Okay, interesting. Do you support affirmative action?
I don't think so. I don't think it's targeted well. I'd rather a more broad approach because affirmative action is essentially private institutions trying to make up for systemic issues that have happened over the period of like 300 years in American history. So it's not going to fix anything. And there probably should be, like California, for example. I do not support affirmative action, but I do support banning legacy initiatives, which California did once DEI was banned. So yeah, ban legacy admissions to colleges.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's interesting what you're saying about DEI because the perception is definitely that race is used as a factor that they're
I'm
wanting
sure
to.
some companies do.
I'm for diversity, but I think diversity of ideas is far more important than something superficial like race. Right?
It's not superficial. Race is not superficial.
I would say it. I would say it largely is. I think that, like, obviously, like, what your race is, you can have different experiences based on it.
Do you think generational wealth is a real thing? So, like, if your grandfather is rich, do you think you're more likely to be rich? Like, if your grandfather's rich?
Yeah.
Okay, so if generational wealth is a thing, now I just want to say, are you familiar with what percent of Fortune 500 CEOs in 1970, after the 1960s, what percent of Fortune 500 CEOs do you think were white men?
I'm sure it was a pretty high percentage.
Just like guess a number.
Guess a number. It's in the 90s.
It's 100%. Okay, 100% of Fortune 500 CEOs were white men. And that's the same for managers. So it was like 99% white men at that time. So everyone making the most money in society were white men. So that's our grandfathers and fathers, essentially, for this current generation or these current generations. So when we look at that, that seems like, race is not very arbitrary then. Why was that 100% white men in 1970?
I mean, Jim Crow legacy, right?
Yeah, but I thought race did not matter. Why is it all white men? Or gender?
Well, it shouldn't matter, right? It has in the past.
I agree it should not matter, but we have a long history where it did matter, and it made black people considered to be subhuman under law.
Why do you want to do the same thing that they did back then?
Because I'm not doing the same thing. Actually, these policies were made to reject what was happening back then and to make sure that never happened again. And when Trump rolls back civil rights legislation or civil rights executive orders, that's not good. No, DEI is equal. Like that happened during the civil rights movement to make things equal. No, it did not trade things. DEI made the playing field equal. And DEI, by the way, is gender, race. Like myself, I benefit from DEI because I'm a poor rural person I'm a poor white rural area born person. Okay. Dealt with tons of family members having overdoses and alcoholism and suicide and all that crap. I dealt with social workers growing up. I had a really shitty childhood. I was able to go through college largely, and I still am in tons of debt, but largely because of DEI policies. It helps white people, it helps veterans, it helps everyone to have equal and disabilities as well. DEI is for every person to have equal playing field, equal opportunity employment. It's equality. DEI is the opposite of any type of discrimination.
We have discrimination laws for that, right?
Yeah, DEI is part of those anti-discrimination laws. Yeah, that's part of the anti-discrimination laws. Yeah.
No, they came far after anti-discrimination laws.
No, it didn't. DEI policies, like Trump rolled back policies from the 1960s for federal contractors. So like those policies were put in place saying you cannot discriminate based on race or gender or whatever. And he took away those policies. He took away policies that guaranteed equality. You're thinking about like quotas or affirmative action, which if that was happening, like we could go over managerial numbers or Fortune 500 CEO numbers. The numbers do not look good.
I mean, you can look at the numbers, but if you're hiring or giving opportunities and using minority race as a factor in making that decision, you're like maybe it's to a lesser extent.
DEI. Okay, I'm sorry. One more time. DEI is not the same as reverse racism or reverse discrimination, where you're trying to like fix historical issues. Okay, DEI is an equal playing field, equal opportunity employment for race issues, also for veterans, for those who have disabilities, for gender, religion, whatever it might be. DEI is the equal playing field, but the right wing is making the equal playing field seem as biased.
Equity. That's what the E is for. The E is not equality; it's equity.
Okay. Yeah, I think that poor kids should have a little bit of a benefit from the systems we have to help make up for the issues that they go through that rich people don't. I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
equity is fairness, though. That's still fairness, right? You can debate on what equity policy you want, but
I mean, not if merit's taking a back seat.
Merit is not taking a back seat in DEI. In fact, the opposite. Are you familiar with like Jackie Robinson?
Well, how is that true? Market incentives already put merit at the forefront.
Okay, so in 1970, when 100% of Fortune 500 CEOs were white men, did that mean no black people and no women were qualified for that job?
Like I already told you, there was racism in that environment.
Okay, so what percent of Fortune 500 CEOs do you think in 2025 is white men? That's 50 years after that date.
Something in the teens, 20s.
So the percent of Fortune 500 CEOs that are white men today is 89% white men in 2025. 89% white men. It's only 1.4% black. So white men are overrepresented in managerial positions and ownership positions and executive and C-suite positions. They are very overrepresented in ownership positions, including all the professional sports leagues. You can say players are mostly black in NFL and NBA, but the owners are by far a majority white. And the fact that people think that DEI is some type of like discriminatory policy against white people, you know, I understand if someone's like at the bottom of the tier, if you're poor, the DEI benefits you regardless. But still, like Americans are being convinced that DEI is this like, you know, racist policy that goes against white people, when in reality DEI is just very basic fairness and equality. And even today, after 2020 and George Floyd and all the protests and all the movements and the rainbows and you know, the Black Lives Matter black screens and social media and all the companies saying shit has not changed that much, even after those big movements. And I guarantee you, most Americans don't know that 90% of the richest people in society are still white men.
I'm sure that's true. But you're saying that like you're saying that like DEI, it's not using race as a factor, but most of the justifications that you're using to support DEI is based on racial disparity. And
yeah, because those are the political ones. Yeah, we could do women too. I mean, women make up. The first woman was 1972, I believe, in the Fortune 500 CEO category, and now it's 10% women. So that's still really bad, but still it's better. But yeah, so gender, we could talk about that for sure. Like veterans are being fired right now from the federal government because they're not as protected as before.
Who's being fired?
Veterans. And also those with disabilities who might require some accessibility.
Well, I mean, people are being fired. People need to be fired. We're spending way too much.
That's not. I mean, that's not true at all. Staffing is not. If you think staffing is any reasonable part of our federal budget, I have so many bridges to sell you. You're going to be able to loop them like the entire Earth 50,000 times. We could go through the budgets too if you want later on, but I'm sorry. If you look at the actual budgets, you'll think you're an idiot for even saying what you just said. So don't listen to this back.
I know I've looked at the budget recently. Right, it's mostly Social Security, healthcare, right?
Military, we increased by $100 billion, I think, again, and Trump wants to increase the deficit by $20 trillion in the next 10 years. So.
I think we could use defense cuts as well. I mean, we need cuts everywhere.
They're just cutting veterans from their jobs, caring for other veterans. They're cutting 80,000 people from the VA. I don't think that's really cool. That's not saving. That's not the savings I want. Actually, I want my tax dollars going to national parks. I want my tax dollars going to the VA. I don't want my tax dollars going to frickin' SpaceX.
Yeah, I know.
That's not where I want my tax dollars going.
Everybody wants their tax dollars doing different things, but we don't.
I want it helping people, not the ultra rich. Yeah, we do have the money in America. We definitely do have the money in America.
We don't. It's the interest on the debt.
We do have the money in America. The interest on the debt, that's not a real argument. You have to look at the entire return on the
debt. What do you mean it's not
and
a real
our expected
argument?
return on investment for all the projects we're doing. And regardless, when we leverage our currency against itself and borrow from ourselves, we control the currency as long as we're getting the GDP. It matters the GDP to debt ratio. There's other countries that carry higher GDP to debt ratio that have fine functioning economies. Ours is still pretty high, but it's not anywhere near a crisis. I agree we should be doing smarter things, but that means increasing taxes, even at a minor amount for the ultra wealthy, and hiring more IRS agents. Why are we cutting IRS agents?
Also when you tax, right, you're handcuffing GDP, right? You're taking money out of the economy where it's going to be spent more efficiently.
The biggest growth for American GDP and America as a superpower came when our tax rate was extremely high during the New Deal era and also through Eisenhower and through those years.
There were so many loopholes. Like most people did not pay those taxes.
Well, the effective rate was still 40 or 50%. That effective rate now is less than half of that, even with the loopholes. So like regardless, the GDP production and the entire economy, like tell China that. China's literally an authoritarian command economy. Like, I mean, still, regardless, the idea that taxes decreases GDP is actually not true at all.
They're kind of state capitalists, and they're
still authoritarian.
Had more success as they've moved towards more capitalistic tendencies.
Yeah, as they introduce more and more slave labor. Sure, I agree. But in America, for example, GDP can definitely increase if we increase taxes, as long as we spend it on the right things, and only for the ultra wealthy. They pay way too low taxes now. All the corporations paying very, very little in federal taxes as well. And we're going to be increasing taxes on the working class, and we're going to be cutting like call centers for Social Security for no reason, just to give like minor tax cuts to the wealthy. Why are we giving more tax cuts to the wealthy if we have a debt issue? Why is that our number one priority to give more tax cuts to the wealthy? Like every tax cut, whether it's under Reagan or Bush or Trump #1 or Trump #2, all those tax cuts reduce our GDP growth, and they also increase our deficit. They never result in more revenue or more and less deficit.
True. I will fundamentally disagree with you that tax cuts reduce GDP growth.
in terms of stability for the overall economy, do you think the deficit is an issue or not? Because the deficit increases way more than we grow as an economy.
That's an issue. We need to spend less and tax less.
Do you realize that if we tax less, the deficit gets worse, right?
Not if you spend less.
How much spending do you think you can cut in order to make up for the
There's
extremely
a
low
lot
taxes
of
we have?
ways. And that's why.
Okay, name one area you're gonna cut. Name one area that has a lot of waste.
I literally, there's something to cut in every single area.
If you, again, I'm sorry, but if you think the entire federal budget, getting waste out of it, is going to solve the deficit, you have not looked at any of these numbers yourself. You're going off of talking heads. You're going off of whatever they told you. You don't know what the waste is. The waste in the government would not do anything to the deficit at all. You think they need to cut Social Security? That's not even included in the deficit.
It's not.
It's a separate fund. No, it funds
I know,
itself.
We tax it. It comes right. It comes out of paychecks, right? It's taxed, right? The economy. People have less money in their pockets every week or 2 weeks, right? It goes into Social Security that our generation might not even see.
All we need to do is raise the cap at a very minor rate, and it would be saved for 70 years. It would not be that big of an economic adjustment at all, and we could save it.
That's a good start, but
yeah, but the Republicans want to kill it. They want to make it all privatized.
Catch up with Social Security, right?
Trump wants to privatize it.
Never paid into it.
No, actually, we'd be able to easily fix it if we had actual people leading the government that weren't just like sleazy crime balls. But yeah, I mean, like it's very easy to fix, but they're gonna privatize. They want to privatize Social Security. They want to make it all 401ks or whatever. They do want to privatize that. But regardless, everything you just said has nothing to do with the deficit. Basically, if you want to lower taxes even more, then you need to cut Medicare and Medicaid as well.
What do you mean? I want to cut something from like literally probably every category that the government spends money on, including defense, right? Which you want to cut, and maybe nothing else.
I don't even care. Okay, I want to talk about when we talk about like cutting and savings. It's not savings to me to cut veterans care. It's not savings to me to cut care for poor kids. It's not savings to me to cut child cancer research, especially when like when biomedical research is one of our biggest successes as a country. Cutting our NIH funding is freaking insane. That literally every FDA approved drug has NIH funding included in it. Cutting that is freaking crazy.
There's lots of bullshit that they spend money on, right? Like all these.
No, you just trust them. You just trust them. What? You probably think that you probably think transgender mice are a thing.
Transgender mice. I don't know. Have I heard about that? Maybe.
I would just recommend doing your own research, looking at these budgets, because you just sound like a silly pants. Like when you talk to someone and you look at actual budgets, like what you're saying right now makes zero sense. And a lot of our medical research might seem funny, but they experiment on animals and insects and whatever to find cures for humans. Like when they look at hormone therapy on mice, they're looking on how it's going to affect pregnant women or like men who have testosterone deficits. Like they do funny research for really clear reasons if you look into it. But if you follow Elon Musk and Donald Trump, they lie their ass off about everything. And I just want everyone to not look silly, like silly goofy butts.
What do you think about Rand Paul's Festivus grievances?
Rand Paul should go and retire.
He's one of the few that care about our country, I think.
Well, at least Thomas Massie and Rand Paul can seem somewhat principled against Trump. So, I mean, I would, if you like Thomas Massie and Rand Paul, at least I could say you're somewhat principled. But all the other Republicans are just assholes. They just want to give money to the rich, and they don't care about deficits. They don't care about anything either of us care about. I guarantee you. Like Trump and Musk do not give a shit about anything either of us care about.
I think they're the lesser evil, and yeah, I'm more of like a Rand Massey libertarian guy.
You're just anti-government. Then you don't really have like a thought, because like I want you to call it again sometime with like more information on the deficit and like number and lines in the budget that you'd be able to eliminate to actually, like, I don't know, reduce the deficit. If you want to get rid of Social Security, you can say that, or Medicare or Medicaid if you want to give Social Security and just like steal the money from that. I don't know what you would do with that. But yeah, Medicare and Medicaid are the two big ones. They're gonna try cutting Medicaid first, probably Medicaid and the VA, I'd assume. But yeah, I'll let you end on a point. I'll let you end on a point before I go to another caller.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can say interest on the debt isn't an argument. That's what happened to France right before the revolution. It increased to 100% of their budget, right? And people struck. They were giving everybody jobs. So we have to cut money. We have to cut it, or we will go bankrupt.
Wait, you mean like France in the early 1900s?
No, earlier than that.
1800s?
Late 17, early 1800s.
Oh, 1800s or 1700s? I'm trying to think of what revolution you're talking about. But also, like, the theory of the theory of modern economics and fiscal policy is nothing in comparison to France and the 1800s
I
or 1700s.
think a lot of the modern policy Keynesianism is it's highly.
So are you against
oversimplified.
tariffs too then?
They think
I
they
assume,
know more than
okay,
they do.
if you're pro free market like libertarian, then I assume you're against the tariffs.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, good. Okay, I believe that you are a somewhat principled libertarian, so I do appreciate the call, and you're not crazy MAGA, so you can have a badge, a star for not being a cultist. So yeah, at least Thomas Massey has the balls to do a vote against Trump. I do appreciate that. But yeah, I appreciate you calling in and being willing to discuss this, and I hope you have a great night, man.
All right, thanks. You too.
Waste. We're gonna cut all the waste, bro. We're gonna cut all the waste, dude. We're gonna cut all the waste. There's too much waste. What is the waste? What did Elon tweet today? They did a play somewhere for $20,000. Shit, dude. Crap. Okay, someone else call in. Drop a like and subscribe. Thank you for the super chats, by the way. Let me see real quick. Thank you for the super chats. Tube. Thank you for the $5 for the support. Thank you, Bucky, for $5. America, Eagle Screech that cries in freedom. Thank you, Bucky. Please drop a like on the stream. Help me in the algorithm. Hit subscribe. Please consider donating to Jolah Politics on Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. Please consider. Please.
Call from
Alexander Burr.
Hello. Okay, that was cool. Good call. Good call, brother. Good call. I can imagine you call in and I answer. You're like, oh crap. I thought this wasn't real. I thought this was a fake thing. I thought it was fake, dude. I never expected someone to answer. Who knew? Who knew that was gonna happen? That is wild. The experiment was on the effects of the meds. Well, yeah. Either they're going to cut the funding and they're going to put it towards the deficit, sure. They're not going to give it in tax cuts or anything. It was for hormone therapy and trans people. Well, trans people are not the only... Thank you for $2, Candy. Thank you, Candy. It's not only for... Like, trans people are not the only ones that use hormone therapy. Like, actually, a lot of people that use it. Probably most of the people that use it are probably women and men that are pregnant or low T. Like myself, because I'm a beta liberal. You give money, question mark? I guess no one's calling in anymore. There you go. Hi, this is YouTube. What's up?
Hello?
Howdy. What the heck, dude? Shaking my head. Shaking. Whoa. What is this? What's going on? What's going on? Who put this on my TV screen, bro? This is what DEI means, actually. This is DEI. If anyone tells you otherwise, they're lying to you. DEI is when white people, bad, black people, good, God is MLK, and yeah, that's DEI. You know, that's the entire DEI thing. Yeah, dude. I'm just saying. Like, it's completely logical. That's what they think. It is what they think. They think it's probably even worse. I don't even know. I feel like they just don't like... A lot of them just don't... I mean... The call line's still open if anyone calls in. But many people were alive in the 60s when this was all happening. And they are not happy that it went back.
Call from.
Or they're not happy that things got more equal. Howdy.
Hello.
Howdy, man. What's up?
Not much. I just noticed your channel. I figured I'd give a call in. I'm not too familiar with what you do, but I figured I'd just try getting involved.
All right, cool. Yeah, we just talk about current events. Yeah, is there anything on your mind?
Do you have like a topic you're going after tonight, just out of curiosity?
I was talking about DEI and racism, diversity, equity, and inclusion, but just anything in the news, really.
All right. Are you? I assume it seems like you lean more in the liberal sense. Are you? I assume you're going after the attacks on that. Is what you're basing, or what the night's going on about?
Yeah, the idea that DEI is a bad thing only comes from people who are lying about it or who have been lied to about what DEI actually does. Because I'm pretty sure that most people, like 80% of people who are not racist, because I think the only 20% that are truly against what DEI actually means would be probably classified as racist. But what it actually means, I think most people would agree with.
I get that. I mean, I can see how most people don't even know what's going on, in the sense they just hear or see the headlines, so to speak, and they just kind of jump on that. And people use anger and frustration and sort of back themselves into a corner. And I mean, I can see definitely some positives and definitely some negatives. I mean, just like anything else, people would take advantage of that. Take advantage of it to get a job, I suppose, like they would with any other situation.
But that's the big issue, though, is thinking there's even anything to have taken advantage of, because DEI literally just means equal opportunity employment. Like the idea that it's giving jobs to anyone over someone else, and it's a policy by the government to do it based on race. I'm not saying no employers anywhere have done that. But when it comes to the federal government's policy or a state policy talking about DEI or a college, it literally just means you're having equal opportunity employment to veterans, to different races, to different genders, to different class backgrounds, and yeah.
Ironically, I actually had a situation getting a government job. Obviously, well, I guess not obviously, but I am a white male, and I mean, I guess it didn't frustrate me, but I did lose a job to somebody that scored lower on a test. And they were given additional chances at the physical tests too, and they did end up failing, and I did end up getting the job eventually. But I could see how some people get frustrated where, I was third on a civil service test, and they took somebody. They wanted a black woman, and they went down the list significantly far. Allowed her to take, she had failed the exam, the physical portion of the exam, and they allowed her to take it one extra time, which technically is against the rules. But I understand if there was a certain situation that called for that, because things do come up.
Well, the big point with that would be if they're not doing a good enough job getting people to apply for the job, that's probably the main issue there. Because if you do have jobs that are civil service or like corrections officers or whatever it might be beneficial to have a more diverse staff to interact with different people.
Oh, for sure. It was a fire department type situation, and I actually agree with that. I think you need people of all shapes and sizes, in addition to gender and race too.
With like black women, I'm pretty sure black women make up probably 0.1. I mean, the percentage of firefighters that black women make up is like zero. I'd probably assume.
Very small. I mean, women, I believe, are only 7% of the job to begin with, and then on top of that. So I think you're right. It's an extremely small portion, and just the same. Look, I agree in the same sense that you don't want a bunch of big jacked guys too, because you're going to need smaller people to squeeze into different situations.
Yeah, different jobs. And even just from a leadership position, some people just have a good temperament for dealing with people. And if you're saving people, you do need people for different. I mean, it depends how areas run their social services in general or their emergency services, but you do need someone who can interact with a bunch of different kind of people to keep them calm during disaster scenarios or emergency situations. So you do need people who can understand, a bunch of different backgrounds for sure.
Oh, and I mean, there's a large medical portion behind that too. So there's certain situations when you wouldn't want a man dealing with something that might have happened to a woman or something like that. So
black doctors with black women, the rates of like dying during childbirth, the rates are very, very low if it's a black doctor versus a white doctor. And there's a lot of psychological studies on this. But even if it's, it doesn't need to be outward racism. Even implicitly, doctors assume black people can tolerate more pain, or they don't take their they don't take black people's concerns as seriously in the doctor's office. And it's not all doctors, obviously, but we just have the studies, and especially states like Texas, where black women and dying during birth is just a much larger problem if the doctor's white for whatever reason it might be.
I'm somewhat familiar. I believe I've heard or read something about that study about the pain management and stuff like that, and just dealing with. I don't know if it's just the fact that it's a different race, or if it is just in blatant racism in a sense, or just a lack of caring, perhaps. So I am familiar with that, and it does make sense. I mean, it does bother me in a sense if you're giving somebody a huge leg up or unfair. I mean, could you see how that would be wrong? Saying, in my situation, we'll say, which, to be just so we're clear, it's not like I was upset or anything. It was just interesting to see this happened in, I think, 2007 or 2008, when that situation I had told you about earlier happened. The only thing that upset me was, I guess upset wouldn't even be the right word for it, but you have so many times to take a physical portion, and if you fail it, they allowed an extra time. I mean, do you think that's fair to go? I'm not bothered by jumping down the list because you're looking for that, but giving them.
Well, you have to know that's the actual
chances.
motivation. So, like, what I'm talking about on a base level is the protections provided by our government against discrimination. So, like, if you're going to say, I'm not hiring this person because they're white, or I'm not hiring this person because they're black, or because they're gay, or because they're a certain religion. So, like, the policies Trump rolled back, for example, through executive order, were policies from the 1960s that were in place for equality. And people think that's like a discrimination tactic against whites. But still, and I brought up to someone earlier that like Fortune 500 CEOs are still 90% white. They were 100% white in the 70s. And white men, by the way, and they're 10% women. So, if that local, I don't know, department or a county or a business, they could run things differently, because it's not like a one-size-fits-all solution. It's just a very basic base level of protections to make sure there's equal opportunity employment. So, like, maybe, more of that happens, by the way, in very clear cases when people just know each other. Legacy admissions for colleges, if someone's a donor, if they're business partners, if you know a family member, if you were friends with them, like that's the biggest issue with, like, fairness in hiring, is if you, like, maybe they knew each other. That's always a possibility as well. But what I've seen is definitely just like it's based on who you know. Like, people even say when you go to college, or when you go to like social events, you don't even go there because of learning. You go there because you want to meet people who can give you opportunities, right? So
yeah. What was I just gonna say? Oh shoot. Oh man, I'm blanking right now. I was about to elaborate on something. I apologize. Now, here's just out of curiosity. I know some people say minorities can't be racist. I mean, is that something you agree with, or would you say you agree with that?
no. Now, in their framework, they're talking about it in a very academic focused way. So in the way they're using the word, they're right. But in the way of, there are cultures everywhere that discriminate against the minority culture, and that could be any race in the dominant group. And you could also have prejudice against groups. So like, what I say, like Malcolm X, for example, was racist? No, nonsense. I mean, he had a bias against white people because, white people were responsible for like killing his family members, and he was held as to be less than human growing up. But I understood he has radical views because of that. And the power in society was, like, in the Fortune 500 CEO case, when they say you can't be racist, if every Fortune 500 CEO is a white guy, then they have all the power in society. So they can't really, black people cannot enact systemic violence, as they'd say in academia, against white people at that time. Even right now, they're 90% white men. So from their definition of racism, I would say they're correct, but they should probably use a different word, because in the colloquial way, or in the way we just talk to each other, obviously you could be racist against any group. You can have a prejudice against any group, but they talk about things in this academic way that does not translate well to normal conversations, and that just makes everyone confused, and people get mad. And yeah, that's a really good point, like a question, really good question.
I actually kind of liked how you put that. It's sort of like separate people are kind of blending a few things together with assumptions.
Yeah, and I think
on
that's the problem with
that.
academia too, because in academia they have time to study these things. So when they explain it to the general public who's working regular jobs, and I say this all the time, when you're a leader of something, you're a politician, you're a academic dean, or you're a professor, whatever it might be, or even a student, you're learning this information. But people are working, you know, they're raising kids. They're not in a classroom like you are. So when you bring those concepts to the general public, you need to bring it in a way that is very easy to distinguish, or really precise in the way that you're going to be talking about these things, or the message is going to be lost and it's going to come off in the opposite way, right? Because I'm sure they'd agree, you know, anyone saying that would agree with what I said about prejudice, but they'd be reluctant to say that because they're really focused on people saying DEI is racist, for example, or they're focused on what the power structures in society are, a very like really broad worldview perspective. But yeah, I agree. That's one of my biggest things, even with like the word toxic masculinity, or what's another, white privilege. I think they're all terrible ways to talk about the topics.
Yes, yeah. See that what I seem to see is like there's always a when you have like this shift of political parties or just how things go in life, you have these bounces back and forth, and it seems like the harder it gets hit one way, the slap back's going to be 10 times as bad. Just like the people that say all the negative things Biden did, now Trump gets in, and that ball's going to bounce back twice as hard. And now stuff Trump's going to do, it's going to hit hard, and then in 8 years, it's going to bounce back the other way, and it's just this constant pounding back and forth. It seems like one side pushes far, and then it's going to bounce back for better or worse, whether you agree with it or not. It's just going to bounce back the other way.
Two-party system. Americans are always like that. They vote against things more than they vote for things. You know, they vote opposite. Like sometimes there'll be economic crash. They'll get the opposite party in. The two-party system definitely leads to outcomes like that. But I'd say every political system is kind of like that. The scary thing with me and Trump supporters is just like super hard MAGA people is that they don't take much care into their own independent like frameworks for evaluating the world or their own research. They kind of just go off of what they're told to think about things. And then when I talk to them about like policy, like Trump did not run on many policies. Like if I talk about healthcare policy, for example, they just don't care because Trump just said, when they asked him about healthcare, he said, I don't have a plan, basically, multiple times. Even right now, Trump has zero healthcare plan. He's been president for like damn near 10 years now. Or running for it, and he has no healthcare plan, and people just don't care about that. And the changes Democrats want is so micro. It's very what's it called? It's very slow progress. So people are not going to see that incremental movement as much. So when they make healthcare a little bit better with patient protections and the ACA, Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, a lot more people have healthcare. A lot more people have many more medical procedures covered. But like it's either I don't know. It's just people need to focus more, and by people I mean politicians and all these leaders in society, especially liberals. They need to focus on making their message more transferable to people who don't spend all their time talking about politics like I do.
Yeah, no, I understand that. The problem is nobody really pays attention these days. They get radicalized by one side, and nobody really looks. It's like they look at the headlines, and that's what they get. Everybody's so angry and frustrated.
Well, I'll be honest, though. I can go through every single Trump statement as president so far. I don't know if he said one thing that's true. And it's really scary because people believe anything he says. So if he doesn't say anything that's true at all, then I get scared, because whenever I talk to someone, it's like I feel like no one goes outside anymore. No one talks to each other. It's even a base level of just like knowing your community. Like we're talking about immigrants, and we're talking about gay people, we're talking about trans people, we're talking about black, white, Hispanic, women, whatever it might be. And we're just like looking past each other. We're arguing with the version of each other the media told us to think. You know, we're not really talking to each other. We're not seeking any understanding. It's like a team sport. And by the way, thank you so much for the donation. Love my dogs. Thank you for the donation. $25 on Cash App. Thank you guys so much. Jolah Politics on Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. If you want to support the stream, please consider. I'm going to add that to the weekend goal. Thank you so much for the donation. We're at 25 out of 250 for the weekend, guys. Okay, thank you. I'll let you end on something too before I take another caller. I appreciate the call though.
All right. Well, hey, have a good night. It was certainly interesting, and good luck with the stream, buddy.
All right, thank you. Hope to see you around again sometime. Have a good night.
Have a good one. Bye.
See, I wish every voter was like that guy. You know, you could have leanings towards a certain direction, but, you know, he's reasonable, you know? He could just, like, talk. He did not assume that everyone hates him or the world's crashing down or we have to, like, fight each other. Like, I really wish people were more like that guy. Just, like, slight disagreements. You know, you don't just, like, enjoy being dumb. You actually are curious about the world. Like, yeah. Someone said, "I've got your back. This Jolah clown can take criticism. Arkham Asylum has plenty straitjackets open for business." Thank you. Nice. Okay, wait, one second. Cool. All right, another caller. You can call back in. Thank you for the donation again on Cash App. Appreciate it. Appreciation. Appreciated value. No one checked their stocks.
Call from
Josh.
Howdy.
Hello?
What's up? You're on the stream.
Hey, I was just calling in. I just wanted to give awareness for what's going on in Palestine.
Okay, you could say what you want to say.
As well as Gaza. It's just we started a thing, gays for Gaza. We're gonna send all the gays over there. It got so stupid.
Okay, I hope you're drunk or high. I hope you're drunk or high. Are you drunk or high? Because this is not that.
No.
Are you?
Do they not know what they do?
Are you drunk or high?
No. Do they not know what the Islamists do to gay people over there? Serious question. Sorry, I just had it on my mind for so long.
Now, what I know is they don't care about that as much as they care about the other human rights violations.
What?
Yeah, because when you think about conservatives, for example, it's all me. But when you talk about liberals, it's more just like, what do I think is better for the world? So even if they don't have the greatest views towards gay people, if there's a gay person that's pro-Palestine, they're not pro those beliefs. They're pro-humanitarian aid, for example.
Who? The Gazans?
No, like the people who support Gaza or Palestine. They're pro-humanitarian aid. They're not pro-anti-gay.
Palestine never. Whenever.
Are you gonna respond to the point? Respond to the point.
What point?
Well, the point you brought up that I responded to.
Yeah, they kill all the gay people, and their slogan is, "We do not allow."
No, but your thing is you don't like helping other people. I'm sure you don't like. Should we tax rich people to give like support to like poor kids for healthcare?
Why are you pivoting?
Because I want to know about your moral standing in the world.
See, you know I'm right, and you're pivoting. And Gaza.
I'm asking you a more complicated question because I want to know more about your brain,
can I finish?
silly goose.
You're
a silly freaking goose right now. Okay, I'm not talking over you. Don't cry. You're a silly goose.
You're pivoting. Why can't I just finish the statement without you talking?
It's not a pivot. I want to go back to that, but I want to know more about how you view the world before we go back to it, so I understand where you're coming from. No, you keep on saying I'm pivoting. I am not going to go. We are going to go back to that.
If you just talk over them.
Can you not cry? Okay, listen. We're going to go back to that. I'm not pivoting. I want to know more about your foundation for how you view the world. Do you like helping other people? Do you want to like increase taxes to help the weak in the world, or at least in America?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you want to tax the rich more to help like poor kids get healthcare?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Because the government is really good at managing money.
See, he's not for it. Because if he is not there,
$50 million to Gaza for condoms. We need to send.
Okay, well that was not a real story. That was a fake story. So you believe fake news, dumbass. You believe the fake news, dumbass.
See,
that was a fake story, dumbass.
Talk over them?
What do you call in the shows if you don't understand how the world works, dumbass? Why do you have opinions if you don't know how the world works, dumbass?
See, now you're gaslighting.
That's my ad lib, dumbass. Okay, look up the actual policy, dumbass. Okay, think about the condoms to Gaza, dumbass. Do you think that actually happened, dumbass?
You're a typical
Listen, do you think?
Liberal.
Do you think? Okay, I'm a typical liberal. I'm not emotional. I'm asking you. I'm actually looking very.
Yeah,
you can look at me.
Look
at me right now. You can see my jawline. My jawline looks very good right now. So I'm chill.
You have low testosterone.
I'm chill right now. Actually, I have
But
a very
anyway,
hairy
why
back.
can't- why
Thank
do
you.
you
I
have
have a lot of
people call in if they're
testosterone.
talking over them?
I know you can't like reason with like this conversation. You should go train yourself a little bit
You
better
don't
so you
want
don't
me
look
to
so
say
stupid,
that
dumbass.
Islamists kill gay
Okay,
people.
so now what I want you to say is there were no condoms sent to Gaza because that never happened, dumbass.
Yeah, they were laundering money with it.
Oh, who was laundering money?
Act Blue, USAID.
Oh, Act Blue. Holy shit! What is Act Blue doing over there, bro? You mean the nonprofit platform that helps Democrat candidates raise money? Wow, dude.
No, that's
where do
not
you
what
hear that from?
money laundering is. It never
Oh,
went
do you
there.
do research?
What
You do
money
research on
laundering-
Elon Musk's Twitter
money
page, bro.
laundering means the money never went there.
Let me get my wait. I gotta get my opinions from George Elon Musk. Yeah,
George
USAID
who?
stole the condom money from Gaza. It definitely happened. Jeez, I forgot about that. Yeah. You're so
Okay,
smart.
now
You
back
should go
to it.
learn more. Do you watch
In-
Joe Rogan
in
podcast?
Democrats' world, they think everyone thinks like us. Everyone loves.
No,
gay
I know you
people.
don't think like me. I know you don't think in general.
Try being
Thank you,
a-
Deep
a
State.
gay person
Thank you,
and
Deep
be
State, for
part of the
$10. Thank you, Deep State, for $10. Yeah, I think it's really bad. That there's groups that don't like gay people. I agree with
Is
that.
your
That's
single
bad.
mom available for you to go cry to her tonight? Because I know you were raised by a single mom. You're overly emotional. You cut people off. You have a show and then you speak.
Bam,
over them.
bam, boom, bop, bam. The type of shit I'm on, they wouldn't understand.
See,
You
you're
know that
giving me
song?
you either give
Peekaboo.
irrational responses, you pivot, or you talk over me.
Boy, Chuck E.
I'm gonna have
Cheese.
people call in and I'm gonna talk over them. Anyway,
Man down,
I
call the
hope-
ambulance. Tell them breathe, bro. Nail a what
they
to the
give
cross?
PRP
Walking around like
injections
Kizo.
for low testosterone.
Really,
If you have
bro?
low testosterone,
Interesting.
yeah,
you know,
you have
there's nothing that can
low-
fix your severely debilitated brain. I hope you find a solution, though.
Sorry,
I
run
think you
my
just
own
need
business,
Adderall
I
so you
gotta
can
get
sit
to
down.
sleep. I'm gonna call my wife after she makes me a sandwich. I have my own business.
You
Sorry,
are
I don't
so
live in my
cool,
mom's
bro.
basement.
You are so cool. Hell yeah. You have a great night, brother.
Sorry.
I hope you
All right,
you
thank
sound sound successful.
Gays for Gaza, baby. We're going to Gaza with all the gays.
Yeah, bro. I hope you
All right,
enjoy.
thank you. Have a good night, sweetheart. Thank you. Bye.
Good job, buddy. That guy really owned me in that conversation. Yeah. Peekaboo. I just put some on my chain. Peekaboo. What a good Super Bowl performance, bro. What a good Super Bowl. Poor wife. Yeah, you view women as a sandwich maker. I bet when you, she only comes when you say her name. She does not come for any other reason, bro. Okay.
Call from
Howdy. Howdy.
What's up, bro?
Howdy's nuts. All right. That hurt. I'm not gonna lie, that really hurt. That hurt me. That one hurt. That one hurt. That one hurt. Oh my god, dude. Oh no, there's someone crying. All he does is talk over guests, pivot. Oh crap, I can't even talk. You're right, I am stupid. Pivot, insult, gaslight. You know, all it takes is one stern talking to, and these conservatives start sounding like the most liberal, pathetic, college campus minded social justice warriors, bro. All he does is talk over me and gaslights. He just gaslights me. He insults me. Like, brother, call back in. You could respond with actual points, but you don't gotta cry in the chat like that. Can you calm down for a second? Gaslighting, insulting. How dare he insult me? Insulting. Wow. How dare he? Like, wow, you want to cry more? You want to cry more? I get you want to cry. I mean, crying, humans have natural reactions to looking dumb. You could be mad, you could be sad, you could run, fight or flight, and you choose all the worst options every time because you're not really in control. You need self-control. You need discipline. American masculinity has lost discipline completely. What happened to Jordan Peterson? Clean your room, bro. We went from Jordan Peterson, clean your own room, to you only want to be with a woman if she's going to clean yours for you. Like, what's even happening in America right now, bro? You think it's gay to go to the supermarket with your wife to buy groceries? I'll tell you what, if buying groceries with your wife can make you gay, you might just be gay. You might just be. I'm telling you, if you care about like how you drink out of a straw, like men complain about how stressful it is to be a man, bro. And no one makes the dumbest rules possible for men other than freaking other men, bro. It's like women wearing makeup for other women. Men are watching like freaking pickup artist YouTubers for other men. Like, why are men obsessed with making other men horny, bro? Why do you think another man's gonna think you're hot for driving a car or like drinking a straw another like a certain way? Like they're enjoying a meal. You're like, I hope no guys see me and I'm not looking gay today. Like, is that what you guys think about all day? Is that really your whole mindset? How can I look cool to other men right now? How do I look like a man to other men? Like, I don't know, bro. Like, maybe you should focus on something else. A little bit of self-control. I don't know what you're doing. Ben Shapiro should debate you? No, Ben Shapiro's in it for the money, bro. I'm in it for the love. I'm in it for the love. No one's calling now, bro. No one's calling in. I scared them off. Ugh, what a shame. What a shame. What a shame. To judge a life that you can change. The choir sings. The church bell rings. What a shame. Oh, God.
Call from
Aka Auto Works.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Going all right. How about you?
Doing all right. Your weekend's gonna go pretty good, or
I hope
you
not.
do this all weekend?
I actually stream for 72 straight hours, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I actually don't stop, yeah.
Damn. It's a lot of time.
Time is
go
money.
over our last conversation. I don't know if you remember me.
Do you remember me? Do you know that song?
No.
Okay, that's okay.
But I kind of want to go over Trump's tax plan. Or at least
I don't even know what his
like,
current tax plan
previous.
is. Oh, okay.
No, his previous one, not the. When it came to the previous one, what were the cons of it?
It increased the deficit for no reason. There was no growth from the tax cuts themselves. And all the money went from American taxpayers to the ultra wealthy through stock buybacks.
So, is it that the government should generate more revenue, or what is like the intended goal of the tax plan?
We went into more deficit spending for no reason, and our growth forecast remained exactly the same. It just made more money it made us give more money to the top 1%. The goal of a tax plan, probably the best way you can possibly manage revenue, revenue and expenses to maximize production. So like you talk about the Laffer curve, the most growth in American history came when the top tax cut or the top tax rate was an effective 50% rate for those making, for those who are the richest in society. The most growth came during that era. The biggest decline in union wages and in working class wages came during Reagan as a result of his tax cuts, which were pretty similar to the Trump ones. So, I mean, it's a couple things to balance.
Did you agree with the ability to increase the standard deduction?
Yeah, if you're gonna increase the standard deduction, that's fine. I'm for decreasing taxes for those making under freaking $1 million. But they want to cut taxes for people mostly making above $1 billion. So.
But I mean, a lot of people saw a drop in their taxes because of the tax cuts.
Yeah, they should have just done that then and not given huge giveaways to the ultra wealthy. I agree.
What were some of the benefits? Like, how much did it actually? Because the revenue was still the same, so they must have taxed something more.
Well,
They cut
tax
taxes
cuts for the
for
working class expired earlier, but cut taxes for what? The revenue? Well, the revenue was not going to be impacted to that much extent, and the economy still grows over time. So of course you're still going to have revenue records, but you can cut a lot of taxes and still have revenue records, even if the economy is not doing good, just because it's a growing economy. It wasn't. I
So-
still would not say it was worth it to give so much more money to the ultra wealthy when they did not do it. They did not do more investments with it. They just increased their own value, which also can lead to more inflation.
But according to BLS, the amount of jobs increased during that period.
Yeah, the amount of jobs increases during every period, pretty much, unless if you have a recession or a depression. But what matters is, did the tax cuts do that?
Not really during 22, 23, and 24 did they increase. They increased barely, and then they decreased.
What years?
23 and 24. And then 22.
What
it's
increased or
pretty much the same
decreased?
as
We've been at
24.
like an all-time low
Yeah.
unemployment rate.
Well, I mean, you had 118 million jobs in the fourth quarter of 22. Then you had 100, and then if you were to exit out of 2024, we had 120 million. Then we had third quarter, we had 119 million. So over the last 2 years, we had pretty much no growth. And considering at the end of 2020 it was 118 million, then COVID happened, then it dropped. We're pretty much at the same amount of employment, even
Okay,
over.
are we talking about?
the last
Okay,
4
so
years.
thank you so much for the donation, RQ in chat. I don't know if you want me to say your name, but thank you for $10. Here's some kindness. Thank you so much on Cash App. Thank you. If we're talking about the expectations for like this year, for example, we already see like Trump's tax plan and his tariffs leading to a huge reduction in the economy already. Our growth expectations for this year is only like a 1% growth in the economy, and most experts are predicting some type of recession if he continues with the tariffs. So that's probably bad, I'd assume. But I mean, we've been at like a very, very low employment rate or unemployment rate for, the past 2 years. So I don't know which indicators you want to look at. And like the working class people. No, I'm just gonna say working class people made the most money they ever made under Biden too, like all-time highs, even adjusted
That's
for
not true.
inflation.
Well, yeah,
because of the tight labor market. Yeah, wages were pushed up super high.
Where are you getting that stat from? Because that's not true.
1 second.
The highest median early weekly income was performed in 2020, $393 adjusted for inflation, with the 1982 to 1984 dollars. And
Are you talking about
when he left
wages?
office, it was 37 median weekly earnings.
Okay,
Wages.
total income or wages? Are we including any money to get through?
Median usual weekly earnings of full-time wage and salary workers by sex, quarterly averages, and seasonally adjusted.
Let's see. Well, okay. If someone wants to talk about DEI, join still. You can still call me because I didn't want to get stuck in a tax cut conversation. I wanted to talk about DEI today, but still, yeah. Oh God, these are such stupid conversations. I hate these. The percentage of workers making at least $17 an hour went from 60% in 2019 to 80% in 2023. So under Biden, the working class did do very good. And
I'm looking at the median weekly earnings, so the most common.
Let me see. Under Biden, well, we lost manufacturing jobs under Trump's first term. During Trump's first term. Then under Biden, we gained 750,000 back, and that's the most of any president since the 70s.
Was that including is that exit or beginning of? Because I mean,
No, that was
COVID?
because of the Inflation Reduction Act and also the CHIPS Act. So that was a direct result of the
So in
investments that
2019,
Biden
we
did.
had less manufacturing jobs than we have now.
We had less manufacturing jobs in 2019 than now, yeah, but also we had less manufacturing jobs from when Trump started, I'm pretty sure, because of the tariffs. Tariffs decreased manufacturing jobs in America because of the input costs getting so high. We actually just had a lot of layoffs because of the tariffs recently because they crippled businesses in America that can't trade anymore effectively.
I don't know of many. Which businesses are you talking about?
Well, the crooked media doesn't cover them. So UAW, auto dealers are preparing for massive layoffs because of the tariffs in America. And the Star Tribune, 600 Iron Range steelworkers just got cut from a Minnesota iron ore plant because of the cuts to the auto industry. So yeah, Trump's tariffs are killing American auto, killing American manufacturing, and more layoffs. If he actually puts them into play April 2nd, even more are going to happen.
Wait, so are we importing metals from the iron ore over to Mexico and Canada?
Well, what happens is if it becomes too expensive.
New donation from Yellow 3.
Thank you, Yellow 3.
$100.
Yellow 3, thank you for the $100 donation.
So much has
wow,
happened.
Thank you. See, thank you for bringing up this conversation. You just got me $100 back for my taxes. Yellow 3. Hey, Yellow 3. I'm just saying, 3 weeks ago, you promised you donate $100 a week. So you're slacking. You're off by like $200. I'm just kidding. Thank you.
We're just bumping up the median weekly earnings for Trump.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like the way it usually works is so like businesses maximize profit in general. So like whether if they're spending I don't know $1 billion in for operational costs and investments, and they're making 1.2 billion, and they can spend 500 million and make $1 billion. Like as long as their profit margins are bigger, producing less than it would be if they produce more, they're gonna make different changes and probably lower production for a lot of industries. So like the North American car market is all intertwined. So if a car is made completely in Detroit, for example, parts of that car are made in like Canada, then it'll go to Mexico, then it'll come to like a couple of cities in the US. So, and they might get their materials from a bunch of different global markets. But when you put tariffs in any country, you end all of those relationships. And it takes a long time you can't just like move a factory in a day. So a lot of these auto companies are seeing like Trump, these tariffs are not permanent. It's not done through a tax law. Trump turns them off and on based on his period cycle. And like, that's not real economic policy. That's not going to have long-term shifts. So what companies are going to do now, they're going to be more protective. They're going to lay off workers. They're going to spend less money. They're going to produce overall less because the tariffs are such a big economic hindrance to like, economic transactions. The input costs into making the goods ends up becoming so high that they can't justify producing at the same level typically.
Well, wouldn't you also say that the demand is down from COVID for vehicles compared to how it was in 23, 22, 21?
No, but these are like directly from like companies are changing their entire plans. Like the economy was expected to grow at like a 2.8% or 3% rate in the past or in this next month. But the expectations are now that the economy is going to shrink by like 2%. It was like a 5-point swing. So companies are making like drastically different decisions now. Even accounting for like we're at all-time highs in credit card debt. We're at all-time highs in car loans defaulting and mortgages defaulting, way worse than 2008. So a bubble's about to pop. But even with that, even with consumer confidence, and did you see DoorDash is now going to let people finance their orders?
That's pretty ridiculous.
You can order a burger now and pay it on layaway.
But
Look it up. I'm not even kidding. That's.
Well, I guess you kind of do that with the credit card, don't you?
I guess so, but now you're doing it. I mean, I get layaway programs are locked in monthly payments, so that's kind of crazy. That's insane. Credit cards are not guaranteed. Yeah, I don't know, bro. It's crazy. But yeah, in general, businesses are making different decisions now. So it's the idea that Trump's gonna put like tariffs on and take them off every 2 days, and that's gonna make companies change their like 10-year plan. Unless if they pass an actual law through Congress to make that an economic policy, it's not gonna change. The business is gonna be hurt in America. We're probably gonna lose jobs, I'd assume, from tariffs.
I don't know about that. I don't think. I think
in Canada there's some steel plants cutting. Canada's cutting jobs too with their steel companies, and car companies because of America, because of the tariff war. So Canada and U.S. are losing jobs.
Demand is down. Demand has been dropping on vehicles for a while.
Yeah, but I'm saying like we could see their reports and their like earnings reports or when their board meets and their they're changing course because of the tariffs. Like explicitly, they're citing the tariffs as the reason the operational costs or the input costs are so much higher for their business. You know what I mean? Like it's not just because money's being spent less. That's part of a broader issue, but consumer confidence is getting worse. And I'd say that Trump and his erratic policy, lack of policy, just like random executive action is probably making that consumer sentiment even worse. Like these are Trump's worst economic numbers because he's not focusing on it. He's more focusing on just like being more authoritarian in his border policy, whatever that is, and ICE, and supporting Musk, kind of rip it through the government. But like this is like by far Trump's worst approval ratings on the economy of his entire like first or second term.
So
Thank you, Bucky,
what
for the
was
gift
your
of membership.
viewpoints
Thank you,
on-
Bucky.
What was your viewpoints on like Biden's tariffs?
Well, Biden did very small targeted tariffs. He
I'm
did the
gonna
carrot
say
and the stick
100%
approach.
small.
So he did the carrot and the stick approach. So he put tariffs on something, and then there were already tariffs in place. But he ended up doing like a deal with these countries, like an actual deal, and working out the trade and fixing the trade relations. I could look up what he actually did, but Biden did
So
more than just
what
do
was your
broad
viewpoint,
across
like,
the
on
board tariffs.
50%, his 50% tariff on solar from China.
So Biden also spent the Chips and Science Act subsidized our industries to give them a boost in America. So like the effect we're seeing now where we tariff everything coming into America is insane. First off, it's not targeted at all. But if companies right now in America were being subsidized by something and we wanted to increase manufacturing in America, then they would not be laying off these workers because they'd have that extra cushion to withstand the economic turbulence. But under Trump's plan, there is no plan. There is really no plan with what Trump is doing. Some people think he's trying to crash the the economy intentionally, which I am sympathetic to, to that argument.
Out of every president that goes in.
Well, no, I like Trump is purposely crashing the economy so that every economic crash, the ultra wealthy get richer because the people that have all the money have money left over to buy up the small businesses when the shit goes to hell. So there's thinking that maybe Trump is like purposely crashing the economy so that the ultra, like his big donors like Bezos and Zuckerberg and Musk can buy up more of the economy once it fractures. But that's just one theory for why he's doing such a stupid policy with the tariffs.
Well, I'd say the biggest movement of money to the wealth was probably after COVID, right?
It's every economic
Nothing really
crisis.
stopped
I mean, it started off with Reagan and his tax cuts. Like that's when it started with the transfer of money to the wealthy and killing
Well, I mean,
unions
the fact
also.
that they kind of shut down a bunch of businesses and then let the big businesses stay in power.
Well, that's the same
So,
for
yeah, like
any
Walmart
crash.
and Amazon.
Well,
I mean,
that
we
wasn't the
could've
big thing
probably
though.
done things differently. I mean, granted,
In terms of finances, that was the big issue. It was not who was open first. It's who's big enough to withstand the turbulence. So like if the economy crashes,
well,
Amazon
I mean,
has enough
being
money,
open
right?
Definitely helps if you close the other stores, right?
Right now, Trump is forcing small businesses to close from the tariffs. Like during COVID, there were loans to keep businesses afloat. That was not why the businesses died during then. It was the economic transaction and financial level and ownership level of the economy that can withstand turbulence. And like Walmart did not succeed because of them being open. They succeeded because local grocery stores were still open too. But they can still close down because when you're a monopoly, you have economy of scale. Your production is cheaper, right? So that's one reason Amazon and Walmart could survive those extreme economic conditions. And that's why what Trump's doing right now with the economy is also really bad.
Well, I mean, like I lived in California and you had plenty of, I mean, granted, I know it was state by state, which I actually appreciate Trump did it state by state because at least some states didn't have to bear any of the burden that like California had to bear where they shut down everything. It was quite ridiculous. But as far as like, I mean, if we did an approach that was more stern, which I don't know. I mean, it's all Monday quarterbacking as far as that goes, but I believe that Biden would have probably been a little bit more stringent as everyone wanted, or not everyone, but I would say 50% wanted.
I mean, Trump is also anti-trust busting and he's anti-policies that prevent corruption. So that's another big reason big companies can mess up the small ones. So there's a lot of different things we can go over, but just typically, like, we need to not do what Trump's doing. Like, do you think the tariffs are good for anything?
I think they're good for revenue, and I think they're good for bringing manufacturing jobs back.
So when I say, for example, it's not a real policy and Trump could turn them on and off any day, and that's why companies are hesitant to make decisions long term, and they might just say, like, we're going to wait out this term because Trump's going to be in office until 2028.
They wouldn't necessarily take the unsafe bet. They might go, oh well, there could be a tariff or there could not. So what I'll do is I'll build my factory in America.
No, because that's going to be a much bigger, like that's not how any of this stuff works. Like I said before, one car,
Well, I mean,
cars made in America have
there's
parts
gonna
made
be
in
a tariff.
Canada and parts made in Canada and Mexico as well. Moving all of that production is very, 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 very expensive. And we don't have the labor force in America to do that. We already have a very low, we need more workers in America to do that too. And Trump's deporting a bunch of visa holders
and we need
legal
to
residents.
we need to increase that. And we don't have the skill force in manufacturing anymore that we used to because we gave it all away.
Well, if we're going to be deporting people, even if they're legal green card residents and visa holders, and we have a small labor
Well,
market
what about
already,
the legal residents? I mean, we still need more manufacturing.
we're still deporting legal residents right now because they say mean things about
But
Trump.
I mean, what about the legal ones? The
Yeah,
ones
we're
that we
deporting
should have-
legal.
should
We're
we
supporting
not?
legal. Yeah, we are deporting green card holders and legal visa holders
is
that are
the-
here to work.
I
Yeah,
mean-
we are deporting them. Yeah.
But currently, we're talking about manufacturing jobs. I'm not talking about
Any job.
deportation.
It's about the labor market in general. Just too many people, too few jobs, or too whatever, or too many jobs, too few people.
I mean,
Like,
we
how are they
had
going to move production back here?
more
Who's going to
workers
work the
before,
jobs?
and then we lost 1 million. Well, what we're at 120 million when he left office, and we were at 121.3. So we have 1.1 million jobs that are just don't exist anymore, or what did they do? It would be interesting to see what happened there.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, even you saying tariffs are a good thing for any type of economic movement is just like against even the most free market,
Why
even
did
the most
Biden
like
increase the
conservative
tariffs
economists.
on lumber?
Biden did tariffs on like 5 goods from like 2 countries. Trump is doing across the
did
board
them-
tariffs.
and-
Trump is doing 25% tariffs on every piece of any good from Canada, Mexico, the EU, and China, and freaking Colombia. Like he's doing, these are not even comparable things at all. Biden subsidized everything he did. Every tariff,
He did
every
a
tariff
7%
Biden
increase
did.
on.
He did a subsidy on the other end to increase American manufacturing in America. Like that's different. He subsidized the industry in America that he's trying to protect. That's a different approach.
So lumber that we were talking about last time. You said that lumber, we cannot do it, but then Biden increased the tax from like 8% to 17.9% on lumbers, on tariffs. And then Trump just raised it another 8. So
Yeah,
why
but
did Biden-
why did Trump do 25%? What is the
Because he
thinking
wanted
behind
to-
25% and everything? Why is Trump taxing European champagne?
I mean, to be fair, I think it's just fair if it's across the board. Like, I mean, if he taxes.
No,
grapes
why
in
is he
Europe, at least it's a
taxing
fair
European
tax, right?
champagne at like 200%? Why is he tariffing European champagne if it's for American manufacturing or revenue?
I mean, if you're going to get revenue from it, I mean, would you agree if it came to like a
Okay,
tax
when you say you
on,
get revenue from
jet
it,
flight?
like you are saying that's a tax increase on the working class of America, right?
Well, I mean, champagne's typically not a working.
No, I mean okay, you know what I mean. I'm not even gonna explain what I mean because you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean by saying that. I mean,
Oh my,
if you're gonna
okay, fine. I'll
increase
say
the
it out. I'll
tax
say it out like you're
flat-
2 years old because every single good from these countries is coming into America, 25%. If you're saying there's a huge tax revenue increase, it's because American people are paying the tax for importing
But
goods.
there's also goods that come from the U.S. that don't have any tariff on them.
I thought you said it's good for revenue.
It is good for revenue, and it's also good for keeping jobs here. It's a 2-for-1.
No, it's not because it increases input costs because businesses are global, even in America. That's why in the first Trump term we lost jobs because right now we're losing jobs because of the tariffs. We're literally losing jobs because of tariffs. We're losing steel jobs and auto jobs because of tariffs right now.
Wait, hold on.
You're
hold on,
losing
hold on.
jobs.
That stat is inaccurate. That stat is very inaccurate. He went into office with 111 million. After COVID, he left office with 111 million. After COVID, after a crisis, he dropped down to what he entered office with. If it wasn't for all the jobs he gained, then we probably wouldn't have as many jobs.
So let me see here. So the Congressional Budget Office did a review of Trump's tariffs, and their economic analysis concluded that the tariffs reduce reduce real GDP by 0.5% and raise consumer prices by 0.5% in Trump's first term. And this
Wouldn't you
contributed to
also
job
argue
losses,
that
including
your
manufacturing.
number is pretty unfactual? I mean, your number of saying that we lost jobs is unfactual in a sense.
businesses said they cut labor because their input costs became higher because of tariffs.
Well, you said that he lost jobs during his presidency.
He lost manufacturing jobs because of his tariffs. I mean, we grew in jobs in general because the country kept growing, but his policies were bad.
7 million jobs.
We would have grew better. We would have grew better under different policies from what Trump did. I'm saying Trump's policies were bad, regardless.
I mean,
and the economy was just in a growth period.
Biden left office with the same amount of jobs. The numbers aren't really that accurate, though.
Well, you're not dealing with any of the numbers I'm bringing up about the tariffs and increasing input costs, or at least the concept of how they work.
Report, which is the data. I mean, you also said that they adjusted for inflation under Biden's presidency. We had the highest median earnings, or not median, but at least wages. I'm guessing I don't know where you're getting it from, but if you count after inflation, the highest quarter was second quarter of 2020, which is 393.
Do you not agree?
If
so the main concept of tariffs increasing input costs and then businesses deciding to lay off people because the costs are too high, that's what happened mostly, and as a result of Trump's tariffs. I'm not saying that the economy did not grow, but I'm saying they grew in spite of it. Like, the tariffs hurt the economy still under Trump's first.
Wrong?
New
I'm saying that the
donation from
economy.
Yellow 3.
Thank you, Yellow. Thank you, Yellow 3.
$100.
Thank you, Yellow 3. Thank you, Yellow 3.
So you say
Thank
that your statement's wrong?
About what?
About saying that it was the highest under Biden. It wasn't.
What was the highest?
It was not. The wage after inflation.
It was the highest since the 70s for working class people. Yeah, it was the highest. And by the way, Trump had 145 million jobs coming in office. He left with 142 million, and then Biden left with 159 million.
Jobs?
Yeah.
Why is the BLS report not reporting this, or is this salaried and workers?
Okay, let's talk about DEI.
I'm looking at the BLS report.
Yeah, okay.
The report from
I want to
the
talk
government.
about. Okay, the title of my stream is DEI tonight. As much as I enjoy this, I want to talk about DEI.
Oh, I thought you liked talking about any subjects. I mean, you just don't want to admit
Yeah,
that you're
we're
wrong.
on a 25-minute
fine.
call about Trump's tax plan where you're ignoring basic economic reality. You would disagree with 99% of
You want to
economists on
ignore that you're
tariffs.
wrong.
You don't understand
You're
how tariffs work at all. I'm not wrong. Every
Well,
stat
I'm
I said is
telling you,
correct.
you're wrong,
We
because you're
lose jobs from
factually wrong.
tariffs. I'm telling you
You're
right now. There's
factually
companies
wrong.
laying off steel workers and iron workers and,
I'm telling you that
automakers
you were wrong in
and
your
everyone.
stat, and you don't want to admit it.
We're
You
losing
don't want to
workers
admit
right
that
now
your
because
stat
of
was wrong.
tariffs.
You said you were right, and you're not right. You were wrong.
Which stat?
That you said that the highest wages were under Biden,
For what
after
group?
adjusted after inflation. I'm looking at the median weekly earnings. Median being the most. Are you just going to target a certain group and just say, oh, well, this is the highest? I mean, I'm looking at the median, which is the majority.
And
Most of
also,
the BLS is wrong.
one second.
Do you think the BLS is wrong?
Do you think wages increased more than inflation?
This is after inflation. This is post-inflation numbers. It's using 1982 to 1984 dollars.
The largest real wage increase under Biden. He did have the largest real wage increase from when he took office versus when he left office, even adjusting for inflation. So that's the stat. So the bottom
From when he
25 to
left,
30%,
it
the
was
bottom
373 to
25, the bottom
375.
25, the bottom 25 to 30% of earners made the most money under Biden. The highest increase for working class people under any president from the start of his presidency to the end of the presidency, even adjusted for inflation. And that's why, for example, grocery prices were actually pretty stable when it comes to how much families could afford throughout Biden's presidency, because wages increased for the bottom 25% of society more than it increased for any president. at least in the past 50 years. But yeah, I mean, and unions came back the strongest they have since before Reagan took office and killed unions. So yeah, I mean, Biden was far better for working class people. And you don't even care that America's losing jobs right now because you want to win the argument. You'll lose your job even. You don't even give a shit about that. Americans are losing more jobs because of Trump's dumb economic policy. But the point is, the debate here, is if there's dumb economic policy. So what policy would you say led to that? Because you have to say what they actually did to lead to the job cuts. Because I can say Trump's tariffs are leading to job cuts right now in the auto industry and steel industry. What tariffs did Biden do to lose jobs? Because I know Trump is doing tariffs right now. You know that like even Thomas Sowell is against tariffs. You know, I could bring up any economist ever and they're against tariffs. You can't even admit the tariffs are bad for the economy. You think they're gonna bring back jobs? I'm bringing up, and we're losing jobs right now. You don't care. Tell me what policy Biden did to lose jobs or lose wages.
How many jobs have been lost?
Tell me right now. Tell me, okay, no, you don't care about the steel workers right now, or the auto workers, or the farmers that can't sell anymore to
there's people that
like
are
China.
gaining jobs. There's
Doing
people that are
reciprocal
gaining
tariffs.
jobs
You
and
don't care
losing
about the
jobs. If you focus on one
USAID.
side.
You know how many farmers are paid by USAID to help starving kids around America, and we're cutting that funding as well under Trump? Why are we cutting USAID funding? Why are we cutting Meals on Wheels? Why are we cutting veteran services right now?
I definitely
How is that going to help the economy? Why are we cutting? Why are we cutting 80,000 VA workers to give Elon Musk better tax cuts? Like, why are we cutting 80,000 VA workers and cutting all these veterans? Why are we 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 cutting all these veterans and not paying our farmers anymore? Why are we cutting our veterans? Why are we cutting all these veterans?
Employees within 4
why are
years
we cutting down? Why are we cutting our veterans? Why are we firing officers for Social Security so our seniors need to use use the freaking app to sign up for Social Security? They can't go to the actual office or use the phone call anymore. Why are we cutting these dumbass things in our government to give giveaways to the billionaires? Why are we cutting Social Security offices? Why are we doing that? And cutting veterans? Why are we doing all this?
It should become more efficient.
That's not more efficient. It's not more efficient. Efficiency is letting old people still use the phone or go in person to get their Social Security benefits. It's called screwing over Social Security because they want to try and privatize it. It's not efficiency. It's bad. That's a bad practice and it's a service for the American people. It's not all about just efficiency.
Do we never fire government workers? Is that the case, or?
Oh, do we ever fire government workers? Oh, yeah, if you want to have a structured congressional plan like Bill Clinton did, that's a way to do it. But right now, just firing veterans because you just want to F off everyone, yeah, that's not the same thing at all, and it's really bad. I want my tax dollars to go to, and also Trump's tariffs resulted in us having to spend $20 billion to bail out farmers in his first term. I'd rather my tax dollars not go to that and actually go to supporting farmers to help feed poor kids in our country. And I want my tax dollars going to veteran services. I want my tax dollars going to national parks. I want my tax dollars going to all these freaking areas that Trump is now cutting in the name of efficiency while still increasing the deficit to give a huge tax cut to billionaires. He's still increasing the deficit. What is efficient about killing our programs, killing our national parks, killing the VA, killing Social Security, killing Medicaid? We're going to kill all those programs, and all we have is a higher deficit. We still have a higher deficit. We still have a higher deficit, and we still are cutting taxes that help working people. How is that helping anyone? That's not efficiency. That's just telling everyone to
How are you supposed
off.
to have a deficit?
Because I read the Republican budget. Read the Republican budget. Look up actual facts for once, dumbass. All right, have a good night. Okay, someone call him with the EI. I don't want to get into the economics, but if we need to, we need to. But still, I want to talk about race issues tonight, guys. Like, seriously, okay. Hi. Howdy.
Hello?
Howdy.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me? What's up?
Hey. So I'm actually a supporter of yours, but I'm calling in to bring to light something that is very that I've noticed nobody really talks about. My wife was she immigrated here from China, and a lot of people keep talking about how the immigration system, talking about the immigration system, and I don't think they really know how difficult it is to actually immigrate here, because what ended up happening with her was she actually ended up staying here illegally, after being told by a lawyer that that was okay. She was here on a visitor visa, and then we went to a lawyer, and we're like, hey, we want to start the process of her getting a green card. And he's like, okay, you have two options. You can either stay here after starting the process, or if you go home, then you have to stay home until your interview.
Okay.
And she's like, okay, so we're gonna just stay here. She's gonna just stay here. And then when we had our interview, we walked into the interview, and the guy looks at her, and he goes, "Did you commit any crimes while you've been here?" And she goes, "No." And he goes, "You want to try that again?" And she goes, "No. As far as we know, no." And he goes, "Well, you didn't go home." And she's like, "Well, yeah, that's what our lawyer said." And he goes, "Well, that's a crime." And so it's that easy to quote unquote commit a crime while waiting for a visa. And
Wait, were you married already?
No, we actually yes, we were already married.
If you were married already, that would probably be grounds to waive that. I'm pretty sure, like legally speaking with a lawyer. So that guy that was interviewing might just be an asshole, to be honest.
Well, so technically, either way, it still is a crime.
Yeah, but they waive it, right? Once you have a court hearing.
So yeah, so that's basically what happened, was because we were already married, and also because it's called a Alfred plea. Is when you say, "Hey, my lawyer told me this, and I was following counsel advice."
Yeah.
They basically waive it and say, "Oh, okay, they were just being told, doing what they were told."
Yeah. The issue right now, and I have to. We have a lot of people trying to fight me, so I keep the friendly conversation shorter. But the issue right now is that, like, when that happens, like if that happened again right now, they would just like deport and detain. They might even torture, like, and not like literal
Yeah.
just like physical torture, but also like they've thrown people in cold showers and stripped them down and took all their possessions and raided their phones and even just like it's all like ICE right now is like going, they're acting like a Gestapo. They don't care about the legal process. They don't care about courts. They don't care about due process. So like right now, that's why there's travel advisories from like Europe, from like UK and Germany for coming here, because like your situation now would not be solved in an understanding way at all. Like I want people to view other humans as community.
I just heard somebody on the
you know.
news. I just heard somebody on the news who had exactly the same situation. His wife came here. They were married, and they were waiting for an interview. She just didn't go home, and ICE found her because she had gone home for a visit, and she didn't know that it wasn't okay for her to come back. And the minute that she said that, "Oh, I'm coming back from wherever," they threw her in a jail cell, flew her to God knows where, and did God knows what to her.
Yeah, the Canadian actress too was trying to come into the U.S. and got detained, and the French researcher was trying to come in, and they found mean messages about Trump, or not even mean, just disagreeing with Trump, and that was grounds for them to deport him because he was apparently a national security threat because he was anti-Trump. First Amendment rights being completely violated. And by the way, for everyone in chat too, and I gotta go debate people then, but like even people who are not citizens of America are still protected under First Amendment right. It'd be stupid. And our founding fathers did not, like, it's all people in the U.S. are protected. A tourist from France cannot come in and lose all their human or constitutional rights. They still have rights in the Constitution unless if it says explicitly that citizens are the only people covered and that all people are not included. But like First Amendment is covered for all people. So like they're allowed to say whatever they want and protest as long as they're not calling for the obvious like First Amendment violations. It'd be the same rules as it is for citizens.
I don't know if the vast majority of people in this country or not have just went to sleep during U.S. history.
They just
but,
don't care, man. They don't care.
When
They
they
really
were in
don't
school, but there's this thing called the Bill of Rights in the Constitution, and I don't know if they remember these three words: the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's something
Yes.
that is very, very specific to our country.
Yeah, very universal as well, and welcoming people, and like we were made from religious freedom and freedom for all that stuff. And I want you to finish this point. I'm gonna move and debate people then.
Yeah. But yeah, it's baffling to me that that people haven't been able to figure out that that people immigrating to this country are leaving horrible spots. Yes, they need to come in as legally as possible, but the fact that it's so complicated, and you know,
and it's a broken immigration system. Everyone, like, no one cares right now. They don't care about actually fixing it. When they say they want them coming in legally, they literally just mean they want more barriers for people to come into America. They don't care if it's legal or not. They see every person as illegal. Yeah, it is a joke. It's just like it's a symbolic thing. Everyone clap. Everyone clap. Everyone clap for the conversation. Thank you for the call. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you watching, and thank you for the insight into your experience. And yeah, I mean, you're lucky you got that all done with, because you would have been moving to a different country. But yeah,
she was able to immigrate here at the start of Biden's presidency, and then she became a citizen here literally a month before Trump started his second term.
Oh, you just beat it, man. All right.
Right.
You just got through. Good. Well, best of luck on the rest of. Make sure you got the papers on you, just in case. All right, have a good night, man. Thank you. Closing time.
Hello.
Howdy. What's up?
What's up, B?
Please be awake. Howdy.
Fuck, I came all sick.
Nice.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're trying to reach is not.
All right, stream's over. It's over. It's over. It's over. We made it. It was a good run, guys. It was a good run. 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 And you're a lazy homosexual that's afraid to do anything. Thank you, DJ Lovehouse. Thank you. That's so nice. He rage quit. We did it, boys. Hey, man. Someone said he rage quit. We did it, boys. You're making me feel famous, bro, for saying that. Because that's some shit you'd say in like someone who's bigger. Like, that's actually pathetic. Go bully someone bigger than me, because that's. Hello. Howdy.
Hello?
Howdy.
Hi, is this a screening or am I behind by 2 minutes on the stream?
Yeah, you're on stream.
I mean, I don't agree with you that Trump is terrible. I mean, I don't disagree with you either, but I would like to hear your reasoning as to why within the last 2 months of them taking office, if I can.
He killed our government's ability to hold corruption accountable. He made corruption more illegal. He's violating the Constitution, basic checks and balances. He's deporting people who are innocent asylum seekers, calling them gang members and putting them in concentration camps and selling them into slavery in El Salvador. He's getting Americans to hate other people and be afraid of their neighbors, which I hate the most. And he's handing the government to the richest people of all time. purely corrupt, more corrupt than. And I have an issue with money in politics for every party. I don't think Democrats are great by any regard, but they at least do some type of like regulation on monopolies, and they protect your information a little bit more from big tech companies, and they never gave the government over completely to a billionaire to run everything, and cutting veterans and veterans programs and VA, making it smaller, and looking to cut Medicaid and looking to kill Social Security, and all that kind of stuff is bad.
Okay. Half of the stuff that you said, have they already happened yet, or is this just in the news and the blurbs?
Everything with the Constitution, yes, he did send people. He sold innocent people to El Salvador to work in slavery. Yes, that did happen, unironically, and he ignored court orders to do so.
Yep, okay. He actually sent people to El Salvador. I heard people that they were just planning to send people to El Salvador.
No, the multiple planes have arrived in El Salvador. They accidentally sent the women, by the way, as well. So that shows you how good the process is. But they were denied due process. And there's multiple families now that they will never see their loved one again because they're in they fled from Venezuela to get away from Maduro and authoritarianism, and multiple. The soccer player, I'm pretty sure, got tortured by electrical shock by the government in Venezuela and escaped to America to live a better life, seeking legal asylum. And this person was deported to, not even deported, because there was no due process involved or immigration court or anything. But they thought a Real Madrid soccer tattoo was a gang tattoo, and they thought he made gang signs because he made a rock on hands on social media. I'm not going to make them on camera now because apparently that's banned. But yeah, now he's a slave in El Salvador, essentially. A for-profit forced labor prison camp, yeah.
Okay. Just 2 seconds, please. I just want to read the chat. Okay. Yeah, that's horrific. That's absolutely garbage. Were these people in the country legally or illegally?
Legal asylum seekers. So yeah, they were fleeing Venezuela on legitimate claims. They were going to all their appointments with ICE and appointment with immigration authorities. And what people keep on saying is, "Oh, are you against getting these violent gang members out of America?" Because they just believe what they see on the internet from Trump or whoever. And it's like, okay, well, some of them probably were. Some of them definitely were. But the issue is you have, I don't know, a few hundred people. And within that few hundred people, you're violating all of their rights. First off, you're violating all of their rights. Due process is the core of any free society. And in violating their rights, you're sending over probably a dozen or 24 completely innocent people. You're selling them into slavery when they're the kind of people who fled persecution from authoritarian nations that want to work hard in America, that are doing everything right. Because they always say, like, come in legally, do it the right way. And meanwhile, we're just going to send people to slavery. We're going to sell them into slavery in El Salvador. And Americans are just going to be like, oh, well, they don't look like me, so it's okay.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, you said 12 to 24, but weren't like 10,000 people deported within the last 2 months? Not 10,000.
A lot of people were.
I'm sorry, 1,000. I'm sorry.
Yeah, probably more. It's definitely more than 1,000. It's a decent number. I know they're deporting less than Biden was, but I don't really. They have quotas right now. It's really scary because you never want quotas for law enforcement, right? You don't want quotas for police officers pulling people over because they're going to find people to pull over. And ICE right now is going to find people to deport. They're deporting green card holders that are permanent residents. They're going after freedom of speech. Yeah, they're doing a lot of crazy shit that's blatantly unconstitutional. They're openly saying they want a dictatorship too, which is really scary. And they said it during the campaign trail, so it's yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I completely understand. Thank you for enlightening me on that. I didn't know they were deporting green card holders. I mean, I know about one case in the news right now, but I didn't know that the rest of them had green cards or
Well, okay, so yeah, asylum seekers, then there's visa, and then there's green cards. And they've been turning people away at the border. For example, a French researcher came in, and they took his phone and his computer and scoured them, and they found a mean comment, or not even a mean comment, just a comment disagreeing with Trump's policy, and they deported him for a national security threat. Blatant First Amendment violation. And also, if they're going to do that to a person coming to America, like, oh, you said something mean about the president, like, or you said something that disagrees with the president, we're going to send you back. I'm trying to tell everyone, the legality, the same legal standard they're using for, like, if the president says you're a terrorist, he can pick you up and send you to El Salvador to work as a slave. You can do that to a citizen then. You could disappear a citizen under the same guise. under the same distraction, and that's why we need to stand up for these like core constitutional rights as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely. If I may, I mean, the person that was, I mean, they're currently being held in New Jersey and they may be deported. I mean, that's the person you're talking about, the Columbia activist.
No, he's another case, but I'm talking. There's a lot of these things going on right now. There's probably even, I'd probably say there's probably hundreds of these going on because I only see what we have reported in the news, and if I see like. If we see like 20 cases in the news, there's probably much more because they don't all have cameras on them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, okay, in the same vein, may I ask you, I mean, where does freedom of speech end? I mean, from both sides.
You need someone who's actually inciting violence. So you need someone inciting violence, and it needs to be very clear. It's a very high bar to cross to hold someone accountable for their speech. If it's against like your country or whatever, it's very, very, very high bar. But yeah, it needs to be a coordinated effort to like cause violence or, purposely you could defame someone and be held liable for cash or whatever the defamation resulted in. You have to, prove the losses for that. There's a bunch of different standards for what that might mean. But like that Mahmoud Khalil, I think his name was, he definitely did nothing at all to justify going after him for his speech. And they have no criminal charges for him except they did not like what he said. So it's really scary.
Okay. So does freedom of speech have to, I mean, does the call for violence have to happen immediately after the speech, or can it happen at any time after they listen to the person's speech? Like, for example, on the media, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere else?
You probably need to intently cause for violence. You need to intently, because like Elon Musk posts about how we're going to need a civil war every single week. So he's been doing that for years and years. So it needs to be someone who's intentionally trying to cause violence on purpose, and they knowingly are trying to rile people up to, I don't know, like stroke a race war is one example. And you could argue like we have neo-Nazis marching in our freaking streets, and they have nothing. We never arrest them, right? So if neo-Nazis can march, then what Khalil has done or said, which I don't even know every statement, but it's definitely not worse than neo-Nazis and what they do in America. So
no, absolutely, I agree with you. There's nothing worse than a Nazi. I mean, my family come from Eastern Western Europe. I mean, they fought against the Nazis. There's nothing worse than a Nazi. But I would like to ask you, how would you characterize the people? I mean, this is just a fantasy question. How would you like to characterize the people that are currently vandalizing, for example, Tesla vehicles?
I'm against, for sure, anything that might cause any harm to anyone. So, like, for example, the fire bombings or setting cars on fire or shooting into, I don't even know if that really happened, but I heard someone say about someone shooting at a Tesla dealership. I don't know if that happened. I haven't looked in the news for that one, but nothing that could put, I'm 100% against anything that could harm anyone, for sure. When it comes to like vandalism, I don't think you should be spray painting people's cars. I think it's funny if you honk at people. I don't think it's a bad thing if you're like, what a loser, you have a Tesla, don't you? I wouldn't go after people, obviously, but if you're just like, if you have a friend, if your friend has a Tesla and you want to bust his balls, I mean, I think that's fine. But anything that harms anyone else, I wouldn't approve.
I mean, honestly, I wish you didn't say that, because if your friend had a Tesla and you had a can of spray paint and you spray painted a specific symbol.
No, I said bust his balls. I didn't mean like touch his property. I meant just like make fun of him. Like, hey, loser, you're driving a dumb electric car. So yeah, and I think boycotts in general. I fully support the boycott. I 100% support the boycott, but nothing that could harm anyone.
Okay, but property persons, can I at least hear that you're against people spray painting certain kind of racially oppressive devices?
Yeah, I said that.
I just want to hear it. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I mean, I think this is your last call from what you said on stream. Thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful night. Good night.
I appreciate the call. Thank you. Who was that? Who was that person? Who was that? Boy, someone said, thank you guys for the support. Thank you for liking and subscribing to the stream. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the amazing donations. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you, Yellow, again. Thank you, Yellow, for Yellow. Thank you, Rita. Love my dogs. RQ, as we say. Let me check my Venmo quick because I think someone might have donated on Venmo. Thank you, Deep State, as well, from earlier. Thank you. All Teslas are computers. Yeah, when Trump went into Tesla, he's like, there is so much computer. there's so much computer in this Tesla. But someone just said, Elon and Trump, thank you for your great leadership. Elon and Trump, thank you for your great leadership. Boycott Jolah, someone said. I'll take another caller. I'll take another one.
Hello?
Howdy, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Well, I just want to let you know you're a fucking freeloader.
Hell yeah, brother. High five.
Are you gay?
I mean, you answered the call. I said I hear you loud and clear, so yeah. Duh.
So you are gay, right? You look gay too.
Thank you, brother. I mean, if you think I'm attractive, I'll take that. I'll take that compliment. Thank you, sir.
No, I'm not saying you look attractive.
Yeah, you are. You're looking at me.
Gay.
Do you think my lips are too colorful?
Nah, you look like a fruity buttercup.
Bro, why are you looking at my lips, bro? Why are you looking at my face and shit? Why are you looking at how I look? Why are you checking me out? Why are you checking me out, dude? You trying to do something? Why are you
You're
looking
a
at me?
freeloader. I'm looking at you like a homeless in the street the same way.
Dang, dude. Shit, I got Wi-Fi
You're a
though.
freeloader.
I do got Wi-Fi. I'm a
You're free in
freeloader.
America.
Everyone say I'm a freeloader in the chat, guys. Everyone say
You
I'm a
are,
freeloader.
bro. Why don't you get a job?
Say Jolah is a freeloader in the chat. Say Jolah is a freeloader. Jolah is a freeloader. Jolah is a freeloader. You want to rap battle real quick, bro?
But so you admit you're a freeloader. Like,
Hey yo, this is a really dumb caller, not a real baller. He thinks he's a scholar, really? He's squalor. I don't gotta do this. Every time I'm ruthless, I just go into it.
You're
I fly
trying
like
to
Cupid.
talk,
You don't
but
know what
you
I'm
can't
doing. You
debate
sound
that
like you're
you're a
stupid. I
freeloader,
keep
right?
on going. All these illusions. You get so distracted. I keep on reacting. I got these chemicals. You got no action. Every time I go
Are
into
you
the
done?
flow, you know that I got.
You don't even got
What? What do you
bars.
want to do, bro?
Are you
Right
done?
back.
You don't
Yeah,
even
yeah.
got bars.
I don't got bars. You show me your bars, then, bro.
Silence speaks a lot. You're just a clown.
Show me your
It's
bars,
just
bro. Nah,
rapping.
you don't got it, bro. You don't got it, bro. You don't got it.
Because you're trying to debate or you're trying to rap battle. Let's get
I'll debate
clear.
something. I'll debate something, bro. I'll do
Let's
it.
debate that you're a freeloader, right? You agree with what?
I'm a
What do
freeloader.
you bring to society by just freeloading and asking for Cash App and PayPal, and also trying to get monetized on YouTube? Do you
I am
think this is a
monetized on YouTube.
concrete- You're trying, but good luck. But what
I
I'm
am
trying to say
monetized
is
on
this,
YouTube.
right?
I am
How are
objectively
you
monetized on
helping the
YouTube.
society right now? So you support the illegal immigrants here?
The what?
You support all the illegal immigrants, right?
No.
You're advocating for Trinidad again. That's who you're advocating for, right?
Bro, you're one of those.
See, you look like
Wait,
you're one of those
is this
people,
your third
you know,
language? Is this your fourth language? We
did you
speak
get paid
English
by-
here, bro. We speak English
I have a
here, okay?
question.
Please
I have
practice.
a question.
Practice.
Which Democratic
I
did
am in
Chuck Schumer
favor of
pay you?
multilingual cultures, though. I
But
am
I
in
have a
favor.
question.
We should not have a
do
national
you get
language.
funded by an NGO to do this?
Yes.
Like, people are hating you. So
it's a
what-
it's a new
You
gay
are
organization.
like a leech to society. Do
Thank
know
you,
that?
bro. Thank you, homie. Thank you,
Yeah,
homie.
so I have a question. Which one paid you, Chuck Schumer?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Hell yeah.
You wish, right? You barely wish. You're just trying to be one of those people that just blabs in the middle of nowhere trying to get attention.
Nah,
Like,
bro. I'm trying to be one of the
bro,
people that
you
call
know,
into
you know
my
you're
show.
gonna have a sad.
I'm trying to be someone that
you're gonna
calls
be a
into the
loner.
show. I want to be like
Like,
you.
you
I
don't
want to
even
call
have a
into the show. It's
don't
Friday
even
night
have
at
a phone.
midnight. Who are you calling? Who are you talking to tonight? I
Yeah,
hope you have a
because
good
you
night,
know
bro.
the funny
New
thing
donation
is
from the
that
Deep
Thank
State.
you, Deep
you're
State.
kind of entertaining. Like,
$10
Mr.
I won't tell him.
Clown
I
over
won't tell
here.
him Deep State. I will not tell him Deep State. Okay, what
Okay,
what
Island
did you
boys.
just say? What did you
Island
just say?
boys. You're trying to join the
Are
island
you-
gang. This
Are
nigga
you
the
like?
fake island
Are
boy.
you
Okay.
living in
Did
2017
you get
TikTok?
arrested for
Are
driving
you in
without a
2017
license?
Facebook?
Oh, okay.
I don't even know that
so
reference.
We got
I don't think I'm
Tekashi
in.
6ix9ine here, bro. He actually did
What?
something.
Okay,
out there.
it's
He's
not
like,
2018.
We got
It's not
Tekashi over here.
2018, bro. It's not
Okay,
2018.
Tekashi. Okay,
It's not
young
2018.
MA. Ooh, this is a good
No, bro. These are actually all like 2017 memes, bro. What the hell?
That's where you're stuck at, bro.
Who talked about
Like, you're
young
trying to-
MA? You're stuck. You just
Yeah.
quoted 18 memes from 2017. You're
a
quoting
faggot.
Young Ma. Young Ma, bro. Now you're bringing up Game Awards from 2008, from 2008. What's going on, bro?
What does it matter?
This is a cry for
that's
help.
who you are.
This is a cry for help, bro.
Just because it's 2025 doesn't mean you're still not a freeloader.
Hell yeah, bro. I am. I already said I am.
Exactly. See, you're just an idiot, bro. Just admit it. You're an idiot.
I'm an
who just
idiot.
Don't know what you're.
I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Fact. You said,
I don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you, Andy, for $5 from a fellow
right?
Canadian
What does
freeloader. Well, I'm not
DEI
Canadian.
stand
I'm not
for?
Canadian.
Okay,
DEI
what does
stands
a
for.
Yeah, let's say you want to talk DEI. What is DEI, bro?
DEI
Explain that
stands
to
for
me.
deep
So you gotta look
state.
it up. See, bro, you are such an idiot. You gotta look it up. Yeah, you guys are watching this. Right?
Yeah, I don't know what DEI stands for. You're a
Exactly, you
jerk.
gotta look it up. You're such an idiot.
Yeah, you're
bro.
right.
Look,
I
you're
had to
just
look it up.
typing. People can see you're just typing and shit. Like, bro, get a fucking life. Look at you. Like, you're just typing, trying to find shit. Like, you guys see this kid? Oh, now you're trying to pass that along. It's like a kid who a kid like trips over on the floor and acts like going to sleep.
Bro, you're going
That's
off
what
right
you're
now,
doing.
bro. You're going off. Keep going. You're really, really showing us up. Thank you, Candy, for $20. Candy. Thank you for $20, Candy. Thank you, Candy, for $20. Thank
Another
you, Candy.
freeloader, see?
Bro, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Guys,
You're
we need
freeloading, bro.
guys,
Stop asking.
dude, we need $20
Listen,
more
we
dollars
can
to get to
go
the goal. No, we need $15 more dollars. We need
This
$15 more
dude
dollars to get to the weekend
this
goal,
dude
guys.
asking
Thank you, guys.
weekly
We need $15 more dollars to get
$250.
we're at 235 right now. We need $15 more dollars to get to the weekend goal.
Damn, that's all you make. 200. I think I just gave the homeless $200.
You just gave who is the homeless? Is that one person?
No, like bunch of homeless. This is the month of Ramadan.
A bunch of
We give
homelesses.
blessings. Yeah, we give blessing. You know, have you heard of Ramadan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so now you probably okay. So now you know.
Is
we
that
don't
why you're
freeload.
moody? Is that why you're moody?
It's nighttime. Why would I be moody? I'm just trying to.
I don't
just
know why you're
like
moody. You can tell
freeloaders
me.
because it's nice to give people instead of trying to freeload.
Did you invent the internet?
Say that again.
Thank you for $2. You're a recruiter and DEI was toxic. Sorry, Joshy. Sorry that you had that bad experience, but it still does not change the facts.
So you're still freeloading, bro. Like, what's your point?
I'm
What's the
freeloading.
purpose
I'm
of you-
freeloading. I'm freeloading. Yeah,
What's your
I
purpose?
agree. I have no purpose.
Yeah. So explain that. Like, you
What is
know,
my
since you are
purpose?
asking for money. What is your purpose, bro?
Making some money. It's funny.
So you're
Thank
just
you for the
freeloading,
$5
dude.
donation. Thank you for the $5. Initials MH. Okay, but
You can't
here
really
you go.
talk, right? You're just
Someone
an
said,
idiot.
"LOL, you keep saying due process, but you're against the death penalty, which goes against due process, which goes through due process and follows the Sixth Amendment, and you're against Trump filing a lawsuit against poll workers, which is the right to sue, which follows due process. You could do things that are within the legal realm that's still
Yo,
bad for a
all
president to
seriousness,
do,
I have a question.
Mitchell. And
I
also,
have a
death
question.
penalty is bad because
Where-
I don't
where
like the
did
death
you go
penalty.
for,
It should not be an option for due process.
Where did you study?
It should be life in prison.
Where did you study, buddy?
Your mom's house, brother. Okay, someone else calling. Howdy.
Hello?
Howdy.
Howdy.
How are you?
Howdy.
You can mute the stream in the background.
Howdy. Okay, 1 second. Hello?
Hello.
So, let's debate.
Cool.
I'm confused. What's going on here?
What do you want to debate about?
Well, I mean, so are you a liberal? I'm confused. So let's talk DEI. I mean, is there other things that we can chat
I'm a
about as well?
progressive. I'm a progressive Teddy Roosevelt Republican. Trustbuster. Thank you $20 for Howard. Thank you, Howard, for $20. Thank you, Howard. Thank you, Howard. Thank you, Candy. Thank you for all the donations tonight, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I mean, I have to just say, pound my heart and say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for all the support. You don't realize how much it helps me stay away from completely quitting. Yeah, what's up?
Do you have like intelligent debates? I mean, can we have like an intelligent debate? I'm not gonna argue.
Start a debate. Bring up a topic you care about. You can talk about it.
Okay, all right. Let's just start at a simple level. Why do you think Trump is terrible?
because he hates the Constitution. He loves the ultra wealthy. Yeah, he's pro-corruption and he's pro-Russia, and that's not good. And he's pro-China too.
Well, I mean, would you agree that? All right, let's just use one of those examples, right? Let's think about China, right? Would you agree that China is a rising power?
Yeah, and we're moving to the side for China right now.
I mean, do you think it makes sense to fight a rising power, or do you think it makes sense to cooperate or work with the rising power?
I think it makes sense to not allow China to take over every trade relationship and every global organization like we're doing right now.
I agree with that as well, and I think most conservatives and whatever you want to call it, Trump supporters or MAGA, would agree with you as well.
I disagree completely, because they can be told like USAID is evil and they'll believe it in 1 second and kill all of it, and that's like a huge wish list from China.
Okay, well, all right. On that point, do you think that
like we need foreign aid, right? Do you disagree? We need we need foreign aid to maintain these relationships and trade routes, right? Because if we don't get foreign aid, China will, and if we pull out of the WHO, China's gonna take all the influence. So like Trump supporters are very against any foreign aid at all. They're very isolationist. So I feel like the isolationism inherently goes against the idea of just like maintaining global stability and like trade routes and all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry for interrupting, but
no, I mean, look, I mean, there's a lot of different issues there that you're talking about, and you know, we can dive into all the details and stuff. But like at a simple level, like, do you think that there's a lot of corruption in the government?
So in the government, when I talk about government, it's really hard. Thank you for
like deep state, like
RJ. Thank you for $3, RJ. Thank you, RJ. Thank you, RJ. RJ, if you don't need to. Thank you for the donation, RJ. But you don't, you know what I mean. If it's if you guys can't afford to give donations, do not do it. But thank you so much. So deep state, I think the deep state and the conspiracy around it is kind of dumb, because there is a group of people that have power, but it's not going to be anyone we know about or don't know about. It's going to be a very complex system of, like, Elon Musk right now is the definition of the deep state, and people love him because he just manipulates people.
Okay, let's stop there. Why do you think that?
He's in bed with the Communist Party of China, and he has deals with China with Starlink. Starlink's getting huge private investments from China, and Elon Musk was just now briefed on our private military plans if we ever had to go to war with China today. And he's a private citizen and bought his way to the presidency. And now a big issue. Thank you RQ for the donation. You guys are being too nice tonight, guys. Thank you. And it's an issue. Like right now, Elon Musk, his real play is not Tesla. He owns like 12% of Tesla. Okay, that's not his real play. That's where he gets cash from. But the real rising wealth for Musk is Starlink, and a lot of private investors from China are picking up Starlink. And now we already know that Elon Musk is very pro-China, and has reaffirmed that he supports China's socialist values. Tesla has done that. And what we're seeing right now is it seems that we are gonna help China take Taiwan because Musk wants us to. And that's my big thing right now. We are kind of backing off supporting Taiwan, backing off supporting Ukraine for both Russia and China. But Musk himself, it's really weird that he wants all these. He killed USAID right away. That was his first thing. He killed the CFPB right away. These are anti-corruption organizations like the CFPB. And he does have these relationships with China, and I just can't trust that. And he's being briefed on our private Pentagon plans. If we go to war with China, he's not even a government official or confirmed, or like he's a private citizen. Yeah, for all those reasons, he is the embodiment of the deep state. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the embodiment of deep state. That's heavy. You said a lot of stuff there, right? You made a lot of claims, all right? And we can't go through every single one and do the research on every single one and pick it apart and stuff like that. But do you think that Elon's a good person?
Hell no. I think it's impossible to have that much wealth and be a good person.
Okay, all right. Let's stop there for a second. All right. So why do you think that? So like, let's say, all right. Let's go down to like simple business, right? So if I sell lemonade, okay, I have lemonade stands, okay, but instead of selling lemonade stands on one corner, I hire like tons and tons of people. I create a company, and then I have lemonade stands on every corner in America, or maybe I have lemonade stands on every single corner in the world, right? So I serve more people, right? They give me money, I give them lemonade, right? And so I make a lot of money, a lot. Right now, is that bad or good?
Okay, so what you just said about like making a business, no one who does that is ever gonna make as much money as any billionaire or anyone like Elon Musk. You make billions of dollars from manipulating financial assets. You don't do that from building a company or just like one business. You have to like Musk, for example. And I'm sorry, like the hypothetical, if the economy worked like that, then much more people would be rich. Many more people would be rich. Like Musk made his money off of starting off rich, number one. He had rich friends. He was part of the PayPal mafia or whatever. And even with like Tesla is only evaluated at what it is because of Musk lying his ass off. He's been investigated by the SEC multiple times because he just lies about his companies, and he lies about expectations. And he lies about who he is. He's done extreme financial manipulation in the stock market and with cryptocurrency to get where he is wealth wise. He was being investigated by like 15 government agencies, the same agencies he wants to kill now. He was being investigated by them for corruption, and selling information and putting people in danger and just lying in general about his assets. And like, if the economy worked like you just said, everyone makes a business and outcompetes each other, that'd be great. But the issue right now is, Musk made his money through extremely evil, I'd say deceitful ways. And no one can achieve that much wealth by just making a company.
Well, that's not true. So let's back up for a second. So I used to be, when I was younger, I'm like 39 now. When I was like 12, 13 years ago, yeah, I was like 25, 26. I used to think exactly like you, by the way. Okay, I used to think all these things as well. And then I learned a lot more about business, and I had a very wealthy mentor teach me a bunch of stuff about wealth and all this other stuff. And so let's all right. So let's figure something out here. All right. So someone's wealth. So people say, all right, if you're worth 400, or if you have $400 billion, right? Everyone says, oh, Musk has $400 billion.
It's in his assets.
Do you understand the concept? What's that?
It's in assets. It's not really liquid money.
Okay. That's good. That's great that you know that, right? So
yeah, I know a lot of this
assets,
stuff.
right?
I don't appreciate
I'm just asking.
I don't need the whole overview. I'm just saying, like, if you know about the assets and why his net worth is so high, it's largely because of manipulation on Tesla's stock too. So.
Well, but you also do realize that he's built 7 million Teslas, right?
He has not built 7 million Teslas. He only owns 12% of Tesla, and he did not even make the company.
No, but I'm saying Tesla.
He took over the company.
Tesla, the company, which he owns a part of, right? Correct. Has built 7 million Tesla cars. That's a lot of cars to build, right? That's a lot of.
Okay,
right?
and we've had all these other car companies like Ford and Chevrolet and Toyota make millions more cars, and Tesla's evaluated at more than every other car company combined because of mostly stock manipulation. Yeah.
Well, you can say that the price is overpriced. You can say the stock is overpriced.
If we're talking about just like value added to humanity, Tesla would not be worth shit right now. Tesla barely even turns a profit. Value to humanity and like production and outcompeting their competitors. The other auto manufacturers are doing much better, but their owners do not have nearly as much wealth. So yeah, Elon Musk getting that wealthy, $450 billion or $400 billion or $300 billion. What you're saying right now is even proving my point further.
How so?
Because most of his wealth was tied up in the Tesla stock. And when we talk about like, you outcompete people, you do better. Like Elon Musk is the ideal example. He lied about his progression with Tesla to make more money. He lies about all the progression with many of these companies, or he buys them, and the actual leaders of the companies and engineers do the work that we never hear about. And he lies about his own persona. People think he's some type of genius technologist. He never invented anything. He never worked on anything. He does not lay a hand on SpaceX machines, but he gets credit for it. Like everything he does is a lie. He's like Santa Claus and Elf.
Well, you do. I mean, have you ever read his book?
Have I ever read his book? Why would that tell me anything?
Well, because that would give you a lot of specifics in terms of how he built his company and the steps that he took and his whole story and all that stuff. That's probably pretty important, right? If you're going to like pass judgment on someone, right? Try to understand their story and actually how they went about doing
so the serial liar, I need to trust the serial liar's book when he's proven to be a serial liar.
No, it's written by Isaac Walterson, who has written biographies for many, very like Steve Jobs and other famous people and noteworthy people. So and it's a compilation of not just Elon's opinion, but also all the research that the author did, talking to his enemies, talking to his friends, his family.
Well, you know, his grandfather was a neo-Nazi, right? And his dad is, and his mom is a neo-Nazi.
Well, I mean, look, that I can't speak for his grandfather. I don't know the story about that, but that doesn't
He
mean that-
Kyled. He did.
Elon.
His grandfather was a huge Nazi, and they believed in a technocracy that would rule the entire world and
I mean,
topple
look, all
democracy.
right, listen. You can just make statements like that all day if you want, but if you look,
He's
at
an authoritarian.
look, at the end of the day, look, I just don't think that. Honestly, if I can be like truly honest with you, and I'm like, this could be wrong or whatever, this is just my opinion, but I just feel like liberals, like, I don't think you guys realize what's really going on. Like, no, let me just finish though. What I mean by that, okay, and this was me in like 2016 to 2019.
Okay, I'm sorry that you were smarter back then, but
I was liberal. I was more liberal leaning. I wasn't really like a conservative or a Democrat, but I was definitely more liberal leaning. And I didn't like Trump. I just thought, all these negative things about him. And I would like see all these headlines. I'd be like, see, this is like, look what he's doing, yada, yada. Or I'd watch these like 10-second clips of him talking and I'd be like, oh, this guy, such an asshole or whatever. But then when I started actually diving into the details and watching his interviews, watching the rallies, or watching like the full interviews, not the edited clips by CNN and stuff like that, but the full stuff, and I started actually diving.
So
into
how
details.
Elon Musk wants to have a surveillance state to monitor every one of our movements, right? So you know that part.
Will you let me finish? I mean, you're just throwing.
I do
stuff out
watch
there.
full.
You're
I
just
watch
making
full interviews from
claims.
Elon Musk too, but you're leaving out the Nazi parts and the mass surveillance state parts
You're
and the
just
Communist
making
Party of
claims.
China part.
That's all you're doing.
I'm
You're
making
just
statements that
making
Elon Musk has
random
made.
claims.
He wants a surveillance state to watch the entire world. So does all the tech pros that Trump
No,
brings to
he
the White House.
doesn't. I've watched every single interview of Elon Musk. Like, that's basically on the internet. Like, I watch all of his interviews.
Oh, you're a
I
fanboy
listen
then.
to-
Okay, that makes sense.
No, it's not about being a fanboy. Listen, it's not about being a fanboy, right? Like, if there's someone that is doing if you feel there's someone that's doing a lot of good in the world and who's very intelligent and shares a lot of insightful things, and is working hard to improve the world, then that's
He's not
probably
working hard to
someone you
improve
would
the
be-
world. If you think he's trying to improve the world, you're literally lost in the sauce. Okay, Mitchell Hicks, thank you for $2. But someone said the 14th Amendment ruins your argument. It grants citizenship, equal rights, and protection under law to all people born in the U.S. That's not true. It's any person. The 14th Amendment says person, and all in terms of the law explicitly, it's person in the United States. Every person in the U.S. is guaranteed equality under the law, and we needed to specify that because of our racist policies. That's why we did 14th Amendment mostly. But yeah, 14th Amendment is for all persons. It's not just for citizens. It's not just for citizens. It's for all persons. It was not for voting rights, but it's for access to courts, due process, equal protection under the law, and public education. That's why George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan would argue that immigrant children should still have public schooling. Ronald Reagan made this argument. Ronald Reagan and H.W. Bush, but the Republican Party has fallen off a cliff, so they don't even know that Ronald Reagan was more pro-immigration now than Democrats are. Do you think there's people receiving Social Security benefits who are over the age of 150?
So that's that. Huh? You just make random statements and then that's it.
Okay. Okay. Elon Musk is just it's so hard because he by the way, so what Musk has done, for example, he has lied about having investments secured, like funding secured to boost his stock. He's lied about having products ready. He said self-driving would be ready next year, like 5 years ago, and has said it ever since to boost the stock. He took all the down payments for the cars that were not even out yet. Remember that big thing? He took like millions of dollars a loan basically in cash from people from down payments, and he lied about those cars as well. He lied about the Cybertruck being able to traverse water. He lies about so many things, and every lie is aimed to increase or decrease the Tesla stock price. He uses Bitcoin and used Dogecoin and meme coins also to boost his Tesla stock and other assets he has, boosting shit coins and pumping and dumping those before it was cool to do all these rug pulls. He was the originator of the crypto scams, and people don't even realize how much wealth he has tracked to those ventures of just lying his ass off. Tesla is built on hopes and dreams in their stock. That's why it's probably crashing down even more so. I mean, it was at an all-time high because Trump won, and Trump was like, and Tesla's connected to Elon. But like, just someone that lies so freaking much. Elon just recently said on an earnings call, I'm pretty sure he said on an earnings call that Tesla stock can like multiply by like 2,000 or something like crazy. He said Tesla can be the most rich, it could be the most wealthy country, or the most wealthy company in global history. He said it could be like Google plus Apple plus everything, plus Microsoft. Like, he lies about everything, bro. He's a serial liar. He always has been. He even lied to liberals. That's why he like seemed pro-Obama. Like Barack Obama, he is the one that gave, like saved Elon Musk companies. Like Musk got billions and billions and billions in tax dollars for SpaceX. And right now he is doing that again with China, and he's replacing our system with SpaceX. It's all self-serving. He's such a manipulator. But people believe him. They believe him because they think there's this thing around, like that guy was trying to bring up. What if you make a lemonade stand and you work hard? That's not how these people get freaking rich. They get rich from being slimy. He's always the spokesperson in the businesses. He's never building the business. It's like Trump's art of a deal. There's no deal-making capability in that tiny school, in that tiny head, that tiny brain. They write these books to build this allure around them that's not real, to build this mythos that there's some type of like superhuman negotiators and company builders when there's other people building the damn companies. They're just the speakers that manipulate you dumbasses because they can dumb it down for you. Look at Musk's talk. Musk in 2010 sounds like an intelligent person. Now he sounds like he barely passed elementary school because he's purposely talking like a dumbass to convince Trump voters to like him. Yeah, bro, like Social Security's paying out to Ponzi scheme, bro. Like he literally is doing that on purpose to manipulate you guys because he knows you guys talk like that. Oh, God. I don't know if I can keep going. Thank you for the likes and subscriptions and donations. Remember, the 14th Amendment does apply to all people, not just citizens. Mitchell. Thank you again, RJ. Thank you, Deep State. Thank you, everyone that donated. Thank you, Yellow3 in chat. Thank you, Sri. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for all the donations. You guys are awesome. Keeping this channel going. Really, really awesome. Thank you. Really do appreciate it. Where's my rap at? I want to listen to my rap again. My rap that I did for the one guy that was mad at me. You are a freeloader. You're a freeloader, dude. You're a freeloader. You're a freeloader, dude. Okay. You're a freeloader. When did I rap? How long ago was that?
During
Not that guy.
No.
Sir, you're driving a dumb electric car.
Are you a
Where is
liberal?
it?
I'm confused. So you
I have no purpose.
Yeah, so explain that.
It's a due process, Mitchell, and also your mom. I don't. No, that was at the start of this conversation. I want to hear my freestyle. Computers. Yeah, when Trump went into Tesla, he's like, leadership. There's so much computer in here.
Bro.
Yeah, bro.
Okay, right.
I'll take that. I think my lips are too colorful, bro. Why you looking at, dude? Freeloader and as a freeloader.
Spice so good.
Really? He's squaller. I don't got to. This is dude. I gotta hear these in the chat. This guy was calling me a freeloader earlier. I want to hear my raps. I want to hear if I freestyle good against him. Say Jolah is a freeloader. Jolah is. Bro, I rap so good, bro. He didn't even respond, bro. He did not even respond. Notice that. You want to rap out it real quick, bro?
But so you admit you're a freeloader.
Hey, yo, this is a really dumb caller, not a real baller. He thinks he's a scholar. Really? He's squalor. I don't got to do this. Every time I'm ruthless, I'm just going to it.
You're
I fly like Cupid. You don't know what I'm doing. You sound like you're stupid. I keep on going. All these illusions. You get so distracted. I keep on reacting. I got these chemicals. You got no action.
Every time
That's
I go
so.
into the flow,
so
you know that guy.
You don't even got
What?
bars.
every time I go, I get the flow. Who said that? Who said every time I go, I got the flow? Who said every time I go, I got the flow, bro? Who the hell said that? Who said that, bro? I don't know who the hell said that. I don't know who the hell said those words, bro. I have no idea who said those words. I'm gonna be honest with you. Bro. No idea who said those words. Thank you for another Thank you, RJ. $5 from my cousin. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Now I gotta keep going. Jolah is slowly getting me used to rap. No, honestly, that's not a bad freestyle though. Like, with no thought, that's not a bad freestyle. Hi, this is Jolah Talks Politics.
Trumpy dude, I love you, Trump. Oh, I love you, Trump.
You know, I'm happy the kids are still talking and making jokes. You know, I'm happy they're still doing that. They're gonna be. Thank you, Shadow Hens, for $20. Thank you, Shadow. You're new, I think. Thank you, Shadow. Thank you, Shadow. You guys are killing me.
How's it going, my friend?
How? What's up? What's up, man?
Not much, just chilling. You've been getting some pretty good ones tonight, huh?
I don't know. I don't know what you mean by good ones.
The overall entertainment value has been higher than normal.
My what?
But I said the overall entertainment value has been higher than normal.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. It depends on. Yeah. Fridays are usually pretty good. Saturdays are usually the biggest ones though. Biggest streams. So hopefully I'll get on early tomorrow. Get something going.
Well, listen, before we start debating, I just want to know, are you ready to squash the beef and unban me from the server?
Wait, who banned you?
I don't know. It was some dude who was acting really malicious.
Wait, what was your name? What was your name in there again?
My name?
Yeah.
Extreme Dad.
They warned me
The
about
one and
you.
only name I've ever gone by.
I know. I saw.
But yeah, and obviously, I had some words before because I felt like you were excluding me and singling me out for not participation.
It's called
in your
DEI.
reindeer games. It's called what?
DEI.
What's DEI stand for exactly?
Done.
What is DEI? I don't even know.
I don't know either, for real.
I really don't. But because I was thinking it's when the black people get what's it called? I don't know. That's what I thought DEI is. DEI is they want black women to fly the airplane, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it boils down to at the end of the day, I think.
Ew,
Well,
never mind. Ew. That's not even entertaining, bro. I don't want to talk to a chronically online guy. He a fan. Okay, thank you for $20 again, Shadow. Shadow the Hedgehog.
Hello.
Speaking of Shadow the Hedgehog, hey, how's it going?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Hi. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
Oh, sorry, I was doing something. I'm back now. I'm back now. I'm sorry. Do you hear me? I'm back.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you for $10. I don't know if you want me to say your name, but initials EB. Thank you so much. The guy who got converted by watching Trump and Elon in a long form video essay is brainwashed. I've watched them too. They're just pro deflectors. Elon long form video. I'll have to go check that out. Thank you for the donation. Thank you so much. I'll have to check that out then. But yeah, go ahead. Whatever you want to talk about.
What the hell are you doing, man? This makes no fucking sense at all. That was fucking crazy.
What's going on?
Okay, so you want... Never mind. This is fucking dumb as fuck.
Bro. Chill, bro. What's that guy's problem, bro? What's that guy's problem, bro? What's that guy's problem? I don't know what he's doing. That's weird.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
So, hold on, let me get this straight. Why do you hate Trump again?
Stupid.
Alright, no, I'm gonna stop you right there. My glorious King Trump would never be stupid, alright? He's the smartest person. He's the smartest person to ever be on this planet.
You gotta troll. You gotta troll. You gotta get a better troll ready next time, bro. You gotta like load something funny.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm saying? You gotta get a funny
I'm being
troll.
dead ass. My glorious King Trump. I'll be sucking on his toes every single day. Elon Musk too.
That's not funny. That's not a funny meme. You gotta be a funny memer, bro. You gotta be a funny memer. That's not a funny meme.
Please leave your message for 3342.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's get this going. Okay, I restarted my thing. You can call back again. Guy that just called. That was lame. Blasphemy. What?
Call
Howdy.
from Pristine Soft Water.
Howdy.
Can you hear me?
Yep. So.
Did you almost leak my whole number on your shit?
Yeah, it happens.
So what's the number one reason you hate Trump?
I'd probably say I'm really anti-corruption. Trump is pro-corruption and he's pro big money in politics. I think Democrats are too, to an extent, but Democrats are much better. Even if I think Trump is bad, or even if I think they're bad, Trump's way worse on that issue. And also, just defying the Constitution and not caring about other people, like other human beings.
So would you say you're a libertarian? Or like
No,
independent?
I mean I'm definitely on the left-leaning side, but I'm an independent. I need to be a Democrat for political purposes in the two-party system, but I probably would not be in there. Like, there's a lot of Democrats I would not agree with, for sure.
See, I think we ought to do away with the two-party. I think it ought to just be you're voting for the policy and the person. You know what I'm saying? But
I think that would help.
I'm curious to know, like, because I see, like, I live in Alabama. A lot of people love Trump. And then you go up north, and it's like 50-50, and then certain states is like they hate Trump. But it's like he did away with the department, or he's trying to do away with the Department of Education, and that's a huge thing. A lot of Democrats are for it. He's trying to do away with federal income tax.
Actually, like 70% of Americans are against doing that. Like, what do you think they do?
What, the Department of Education?
Yeah, like what do you think their job is?
Basically, from my understanding, it's like writing the baseline for education, like the different levels K through 12.
So I would say that states handle all of that. Department of Education handles mostly like grants and like helping low income areas have funding, and also like disabled or students with disabilities. I mean, helping get resources in place for those students and helping just like anyone that has a lack of access to education get access. But states set every single point of curriculum. Like anything that's in a school or any baseline of education is 100% set by the state.
Okay, so I didn't know that. I don't even know if it'll get passed. You know, he can write the bill, but eventually it has to get passed.
Yeah, through
regardless of
Congress for
what.
sure. Yeah.
But I don't know. What about he's trying to do away with federal income tax and roll in the tariffs, which tariffs could have a very negative impact on the global economy and just America's economy in general. But it's going to drive different countries to want to build factories here, which in return drives up the jobs that are available. And eventually, I think within a couple of years, depending on the tariff percentages and how well it does, you know, we could be a very rich country again and not have to pay federal income tax. Just completely do away with the IRS.
So America has only grew by having by having federal income tax. We actually started doing federal income tax after the Great Depression because tariffs did not work. So we did tariffs actually that helped lead us to the Great Depression, and federal income tax was part of the solution to getting us out of the Great Depression.
But what about the cost of living? What do you
That could
think?
be increasing like housing supply would definitely be beneficial. Helping workers get higher wages, that kind of stuff. But like tariffs, the reason we have like a income tax for federal is because we have a progressive. So like if you make more money, you pay more. But if we go to tariffs, it works the same way as a sales tax does. So like they call it regressive because a person that makes like $50 billion will pay the same taxes as you do, or maybe even less. And like with a federal income tax, we could tax with our progressive system. We could tax really wealthy people more than what we tax like working class people.
And see, I somewhat agree, but then again, I disagree because imagine if you were Jeff Bezos, right? And everybody can look now like, oh man, that guy's a billionaire. He's got it all. But like, what did he have to do? How many risks did he have to take? Same with Mark Zuckerberg, same with Elon Musk, same with Mark Cuban. Any of the billionaires today took huge, massive risks, but they knew how to network. So it's like you're penalizing somebody for being a billionaire just because they took a lot of risks, ate peanut butter sandwiches for who knows how long. We're
That's
very
not really.
frugal.
That's what working class people need to do. Billionaires like move financial assets around. Like I'm sure billionaires. You have a lot of billionaires that work hard for sure, but I know people taking real risks every day with actual jobs where they're not billionaires. And I think it's more than reasonable to say that rich people pay a little bit more in taxes, so working class people have a shot to have a decent life and they don't have to freaking live in poverty or worrying about where their kid's gonna get their next meal or if their kid's gonna have health care. So like we could tax rich people at a very, very minor rate, a little bit higher, and that'll help all of society function better and give a chance for the guys at the bottom to still be successful, is what I would say.
Right. I think
And they benefit from the
gap's just
system, right? I think they should pay back into the system that allowed them to be successful. They should pay back into that same system and be proud of it. It should be patriotic. It should be patriotic for them to pay taxes that help Americans, I think.
So what percentage would you say? Like if you were the signer off to make it is what it is, what would you say their percentage would be? Would you do it? Would you classify it as like cash flowing real estate properties? Like say, well, you have one billionaire that owns a bunch of real estate because, like, you know, how would you do that?
I would focus right now on trust busting, breaking up the company so they can't have monopolies, because right now they have too many monopolies. That's my biggest thing right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Tax policy is hard, but the thing with like a lot of wealth is if someone has a lot of wealth, they're gonna be able to form a monopoly eventually because the wealth gives them access to power. And like when you're and most wealth in America, like most rich people, actually are born to rich families. So it's very predictive. If you're born like poor, there's a good chance you're gonna stay poor. And same if you're born rich. So I want to make it more that like it's based off your individual merit. Like if your parents work hard, you could have somewhat of a boost. But like one big stat that I look at, and I have like a master's in public policy, so I look a lot through policy information, is that one big thing. The American dream is actually more alive in European countries. The chances you go from poor to rich and rich to poor in Europe is a lot higher than in America. In America, you're likely to stay at the top or stay at the bottom, so it's not that merit based. So I want a system that's more based on how hard you work, based on like where you get success wise, and not just based on who your dad is or who your friends are.
Now, what do you think about crypto? You know, Trump's pro crypto, and I think crypto's could be the reset that America needs, because I don't see, like, I work in a trade. I'm an electrician by trade, and we deal with pretty dangerous stuff every day. And plumbers, which they have to be licensed, yes, but they make more than electricians, and like the trades, they don't hardly make anything. And it's just crazy. Like, I don't see how back in the day, 100 years from ago, you could buy a house for maybe 15 grand, 20 grand. Today it's 300.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
We don't need a great reset. Like, crypto is a scam by the ultra wealthy. It's a scam. It's 100% a scam. And when you say like we need a great reset or some type of reset in America, I would say we have a lot more money in America than other countries do. We've been the richest country in the world for like 50 years now, or maybe even longer. And when we have so much money in America, you have to ask, why is our life expectancy 7 years less than Europe? Why do Europeans live millions of years longer than us on average, like with all of them, than Americans do? Why does Europe have better childcare and paid family medical leave? And why do working class people in Europe have better wages and just like live longer? Why are they happier? Why are we the richest country in the world, but we can't do any of this shit? The idea that we need a reset is like, why would we have to do crypto to do that? We just need to make sure that the people who win in our society pay more into the system so more people can win, and we don't just have a couple winners. We have more winners for all the people that do work hard, and I'm very pro working people, and that's why I'm anti-crypto, because crypto is a financial manipulation tool by the ultra wealthy to maintain their status in society, and they want to sell us this alternative currency like it's going to fix stuff, but in reality, all of this is geared because they don't want to give up their own power. They don't want to give up their own money. They don't want to pay workers what workers deserve, in my opinion.
Well, so what's they say that the dollar is soon going to be not the standard anymore. Before I think it was the British pound, and before that it was the Chinese yen. Do you think the U.S. dollar is eventually going to fall off, and maybe the yen or the pound or whatever is going to be the new standard, or is the new standard going to be Bitcoin?
I just got donations. Thank you so much for $10, CE. Thank you, Stone Shadow. Thank you, Shadow, for 20. I don't. That might have been from earlier, but thank you, CE, for $20 as well. Thank you so much for the donation. So the American dollar has been doing fine. I just feel like I don't know. That's a really complicated conversation. I care more about the fundamental policies and everything we do to support workers and to support regular people. And focusing on like what the fiat currency is, or what form we're using, doesn't matter as much to me as who owns the system. And my vision is we need a big old huge government to protect people. We need a big government to make sure companies are not being corrupt and make sure they're not screwing people over. But we need a really small government to limit freedoms. So big government to protect freedoms, small government to limit freedoms. And right now, we're kind of having the opposite, in my opinion, and we need to go back to the Teddy Roosevelt Republican progressive trust-busting era. I feel like we need to go back to that right now, because there's so much money concentrated at the top, and there needs to be a reset some way, and usually it's through like a revolution, but I think we need to just do it, break up companies, make them compete with each other, and also provide more resources for working people to be more successful.
And so the last thing, how would you bring down inflation? Because they always say once prices are up, it's almost hardly impossible to get prices back down. So how would you combat inflation?
I think we need to allow for more housing to be built in general, because that'll lower housing costs. But it matters if wages keep pace with inflation. So wages for the bottom 30% in America, the bottom 30% of earners, those wages went up around 19% since COVID, and inflation went up around 21%, 22% around there. So our lower class wages actually kept pace with inflation. So I'd worry about, can wages keep up with inflation? Can our supply chains maintain, be solid? But also, we don't need to go into deficit spending to help working people be more solid and afford things. In Europe, in America, if you want healthcare, it even sucks for small businesses too. In Europe, though, there are systems that you don't need a full Canadian model, but there's still universal healthcare where you have an option to have like private care or the public care. In these companies, they don't have as many companies. In these countries, they pay far less per person for healthcare. Because in America, if you have healthcare, you're paying taxes into healthcare to subsidize, and you're paying private companies. And then you're paying, your deductibles, and then you're paying, everything else. So we pay a lot more for healthcare, you know, and also in Europe they have paid family medical leave. We don't have that in America. So if we get paid family medical leave, if we get you know, better support for workers to, you know, advocate for themselves and organize, or better conditions, and we could have a more stable system for our kids and education and healthier food and all that kind of stuff. That's the way we can invest, you know, as a collective and make things better. Like the New Deal era type of growth that we did after World War II. We can do that in a way that doesn't allow like big government to take over in an authoritarian way. It still puts our communities in charge, but it makes sure that the resources in our society aren't just held by like a couple kings, because we're against kings in America. So I just believe there's a way we can reconstruct society in a way that still allows for the markets to function, still allows for like basic benefits and all that kind of stuff. Or like you know, winners and losers in the economy, whatever you want to say for that. But losing in the economy should not mean you don't have healthcare. Losing should not mean you don't have you know, a safe life. And when you do well in America, you should not get punished for it. And I feel like working class people in America too often blame themselves for the condition they're in, when in reality we're being strapped down by the people that are in control of the economy and in control of the politics, and the big money corrupts as well. So yeah, get money out of politics, trust bust. And like I said before, big government to protect people, small government to restrict people.
All right. Well, it was good talking to you, man. I appreciate you taking the call.
All right, yeah, I appreciate the call. I hope to see you around the channel, man.
Oh, yeah. Bye.
All right, have a good night. I'm totally making my Rocket League teammate mad right now. My audio chat, my chat is definitely on right now, so he could just hear me, bro. My teammate, bro, was here. My Rocket League teammate was hearing that whole conversation, bro. He was hearing the whole conversation. He was just listening. He was getting mad. I could hear him yelling at me. Imagine you're playing Rocket League and you listen in on a political debate stream by accident. Like, I do not want to hear this right now. What are you talking about? I should run for office. I'd be good at it. I'm just saying. I'd be good at it. Ooh, thank you for all the donations, guys. I don't know if you donated on my... Oh, so you did donate. Thank you. Thank you, Sliver. Another $20. Do a freestyle with... I don't know if I could do that. Thank you for the donation. I don't know if that'll work. Thank you so much for the donation. Oh, why am I doing this? No. Don't yell at me, teammate. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll take one more caller, guys. One more caller for tonight. Thank you for all the donations. You guys are donating too much, though, so I have to keep on talking to you guys. That was a good call. Unions are decimated in Alberta. What is the Canadian district that wanted to leave Canada to join America? I forget which one that was. Or province, right? Wait, here you go. See, I like the last caller too. I like the last caller because that's just a normal guy. Hey, we're just talking about life. Yeah. What's up, man?
All right, I have a question.
Okay, what is your question?
So I'm like kind of new to this. What even is the political economic state of the world? What is that?
What is the political economic state of the world? How do I answer that question?
I don't know. What is it?
It's bad, dude. Crazy. Complicated. Shit's real, bro.
So, what's shit? Can you like keep talking?
Why? Do you want to hear my voice? Are you one of those?
No. Just keep talking.
Nah, bro, I can't do that. I feel like you're doing something weird right now, bro. What's your
What do you
opinion?
mean?
What's your opinion on what are they called? Twinkies, the candy. Is that?
Oh, on Twinkies?
Yeah, is that they're called? Yeah, I'm not saying this. I'm not
Twinkies.
saying a bad word. I'm not saying the anti. I'm not saying the homophobic word. I'm saying the candy. Is that what the food's called though?
Oh yeah, it's called Twinkies.
What are they? Can you describe what they are?
They're like I've only had one once. They tasted so bad. It's like eating
Really?
plastic.
Like
Yeah.
plastic. Yeah. You ever had one of those like honey buns at the, or like nutty bun? Yeah. What about Nutty Buddies? You like Nutty? Oh, you left. What? Why are you leaving, bro? I want to hear about your. I want to talk about Twinkies and Nutty Buddies, bro. There's nothing weird about Twinkies or Nutty Buddies. Like, they're called Nutty Buddies, right? Yeah, Twinkies and then Nutty Buddies. I'm not going crazy, right? Those are the two candies. Yeah, Twinkies and Nutty Buddies. Like, I'm telling you, that's what they're actually called. It's not weird. Alberta, it is. Twinkies and Nutty Buddies. Or I'm glad we're on the same page, but like. No, it's Nutty Buddies. Look up Nutty Buddy. These are Nutty Buddies, bro. Nutty Buddies are awesome. Someone else donate? Oh, yeah. Yeah. These things. These things. Nutty Buddies. You know those? No one's calling in, by the way. I'll do one more call if someone comes in with an actual topic. Nice. Now my teammate's not playing. Great. I'll do another call. Is anyone in Discord? Maybe Discord. L teammate. True. True. Nice. There might be someone in there. There was. No one is calling. Ooh, I'm gonna get McDonald's tonight, guys. You guys bought me McDonald's tonight, guys. Thank you guys for McDonald's. Yeah, dude, I'm getting some 2 a.m. McDonald's, bro. 2 a.m. McDonald's. How are you guys doing? How was the stream tonight? How are you guys feeling? Hopefully we could do a big stream tomorrow. I'm hoping to get some good viewers coming through tomorrow. Nice. It feels good to be part of a community again. What do you mean? What's the new total? Oh yeah, I have to update it. Thank you. Crap. The totals, we're above the goal is 250 for the weekend. I think we're at like 270 now. So thank you guys. I'll have to move it up tomorrow, dude. That'll be 200. I'm just kidding. What time tomorrow? Officially, I want to say 9. But I am late often, so sometime between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern time. Probably start. There's a chance I stream during the day, but that's a bonus stream. That's not really a real stream, so I don't really talk about those. Sometimes I'll just be bored. Sometimes I get bored, okay, and I just go live in the middle of the day, but usually around 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern time, typically. I'll definitely be on by 10. Bring tallow back. If you think beef tallow's healthy, you're stupid. Or, I mean, healthier than friggin' seed oils. We gotta eat the beef tallow, bro. 100% your fault. Wait, who's the guy that said you're in a community? This ain't no community. This is... Oh, join the Discord. We have to put the Discord in chat. I don't know if anyone's gonna call. I think... Oh, wait. One more person called, I think. Can someone put the Discord in chat? Someone's gonna put a Discord in chat if any mods are there that are in Discord. Please. I'll let my Rocket League team down.
Please leave
Howdy.
your message for
Never mind.
214.
Whoa! Who did that, bro? This is crazy. Are you calling? I'll go in the Discord chat. Go in Discord if you want to talk. Go in Discord. We'll talk it up in Discord, guys. Join the Discord, guys. It's in all the channel descriptions. I'm probably done for tonight since you know, things are slowing down. Seems like our last caller was that. Actually, the last actual call was nice. I appreciate that for a final call. It's good to talk about just like real things and whatever, not just crazy stuff. But yeah, the Discord is in all my video descriptions. including the stream description. You guys are free to go to bed. Thank you guys for joining me. Who's new? If you're new to the stream, put new in chat, like just like today, because I don't think that many people are new today. We did not get super high viewership tonight, but it was super engagement, and I feel like we've been doing that lately, where the engagement is super high, and I actually have like friends in chat. It's a much larger percentage of people that agree with me now. I know a few months ago, like a month or two ago, we were getting like 1,000 viewers per stream, but most of the viewers were like, I had like a 20% like to dislike ratio. So before it was just like all people who were here to shit on me, but now it's like some friends too. So I'm a bad teammate for real. I'm a bad teammate. Local stunts. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys. New. Oh, there's a lot of new ones. Nice. Hell yeah. Happy you guys got to see a lot of it. You followed a bit though. Cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna finish this game and get off. My teammate hates me. I'm sorry, teammate. I gotta stop playing Rocket League when I'm doing this. I have bad etiquette. Or I have to play. Why am I playing competitive? Like, why would I do that to myself or my teammates? I'm never gonna get Grand Champ. I'm not even. I can't even do aerials. How am I gonna get Grand Champ, dude? Totally not reasonable. Teammate, open goal. Look at that pass. Look at that finish. Look at that amazing shot. Perfect. Man, nice to see a lot of new people tonight, guys. Really appreciate it. Channel memberships are $3. So you can get a couple. I still have not made custom. Oh, thank you for becoming a member. That's before I even said that. Oh, you're tier 1. Sliver. Welcome back. I think you remember before. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Thank you mods. Thank you channel members. Thank you everyone. Especially everyone that donated as well. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. I have to check my phone again, see if you guys donated on there. Bro. Yeah, I'm showing bad etiquette right now. I gotta stop. I really am like the worst person in the world right now in Rocket League. Like, I'm letting this person down that I'm playing with to an extreme amount. To a terrible amount. He missed it, yay. Hit or miss. I bet they never miss, huh? Who was doing that? Who's calling me? I said I was done. Oh no. Yeah, teammate.
Call from.
Hi.
Make America great again, my guy.
All these damn gays keep calling my phone. Why do they do it? Thank you, Avery. Supported here. Thank you. Yeah, channel memberships are $3. Go to bed. They think, yeah, they're so smart. They are so smart. He's a Russian asset. True. Ooh, I love chugging red dye 40. I actually just got the red 40 dye, bro. I got it just to chug it, bro. It's so delicious. I always mix it up with like some sugar, some fruit punch. It's actually just fruit punch. I always go in Discord after the... I go in Discord after the streams too, guys. I'm usually in Discord for like a half hour to like usually like between 30 minutes or like like a half hour or 5 hours. The Discord is dead right now. A lot of my really active viewers that are in Discord, are getting demotivated from the state of politics right now, so they haven't been around as much watching. Thank you, Barry. Yeah, they actually distracted me from Rocket League. You're right. I gotta be a Sonic god real quick. This is where you can see my autism peaking. Yeah, exactly. See you tomorrow. Yeah, have a good night, guys. Have a good night. Go to bed. Go to bed, go to bed, go to bed. This is what I do. I make people watch me play Sonic. I used to play Sonic after every stream. Thank you, Sri. You upgraded to tier 1. Thank you, Sri. Sri's addicted to supporting me. I love it. Thank you, Sri. Sri's here to support the Jolah Talks. Yeah, we say the Jolah Talks. You're one of the people who kicked me in Rocket League. Nice. Wait, why is Rocket League not closed, bro? Why did my game crash, dude? What's going on, dude? SMH. Boo, this guy stinks. Finally a good meme by a Trump supporter. Holy crap, you Trump supporters suck sometimes. That one guy was really bad at memeing, bro. He was trying to be, you are a freeloader. You are a freeloader. You're a freeloader. You are a freeloader. You're a freeloader. You are a freeloader. Yeah, you're a freeloader. I got you. The never-ending debate tactic of you are wrong, though. You are wrong. You're simply wrong. That's not good. Well, all these guys are verified. That guy's not. I suppose. All of them joined yesterday, though. You guys... If anyone has any issues verifying on Discord, let me know. Just let me know if you have any issues on there. I have to update some things on Discord. I know. I get it. I understand. Come on, let me do one little Sonic race. One little Sonic race. Never mind. Good night. My Sonic keeps on crashing. They don't want me to play Sonic. Alright guys, have a good night. Thank you for dropping a like, subscribing. Thank you for all the new viewers and members and all that kind of stuff. Thank you. Really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you. You guys are the best. The weekend goal, I added up the numbers on my whatever. We already hit the weekend goal, 280 out of 250. And that's on Cash App and Venmo and PayPal. Best ways to donate are through those means, to Jolah Politics, or through coffee. The coffee link works for credit cards and stuff too if you want to donate through those means. I'll set a new weekend goal tomorrow, but like I said before, if you guys are available, if you have the funds and you want to donate, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. As you know, I am a poor boy. I did start from a poor. I'm not like those other girls. I'm not you know, I said this the other night, but many people that do media on the left are from either California, New York, or Massachusetts. Largely, they do fit the coastal elite stereotype, so I do appreciate you supporting me. And what I do here, like I said, I was born in around all the drugs and stuff in a rural area in rural America, Appalachia. I could be the anti-JD Vance, guys. I'll be the anti-JD Vance. All right. One more time. Jolah Politics. You can see it on the screen for Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo if you want to support the show. Remember, I do run 2 streams at all times. So I have the shorts stream and I have the horizontal stream on the same channel, Jolah Talks Politics. So if you want to have a more calm chat and the full screen, you can go to the other chat, the horizontal chat. If you want a more combative experience, like a TikTok experience, go to YouTube Shorts. That's always going to be the more fun chat, the more aggressive chat. Obviously, it's going to have more people in it. Most of the viewership comes from YouTube Shorts and people just like swiping through it. And that's why we do it here, like a little radio show. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining Discord. Thank you for everything. See you guys tomorrow around 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you, Epoch, earlier for the fact check. I'll make sure. I have to get all the... I keep saying this, but I have to get the sources together, so I don't need to look it up as I'm talking to people. Because I know they are predictable. I did not get that many DEI conversations. I wanted more DEI conversations tonight. More aggressive DEI. I guess there's only so much you can say. But I like when we have these conversations, they admit they're wrong once I tell them what it actually is. It's almost like once they realize, oh shit, like what I'm saying right now makes zero sense, they back off the point. Like, so it's hard to have the DEI conversations with anyone like reasonable, because if they're reasonable, once I tell them what it is, then they're gonna back off it. So yeah, I know. And they always compare DEI to something that it's not. They always have analogies. They it's not even hypotheticals. They hate hypotheticals. They love analogies. That like, God, dude. DEI is BS. Equality versus equity. They're both good things. Yeah, equity's more equal. Or equity is more meritocratic. If you care about meritocracy and merit, you care about equity. Equality is not merit based, but these are complicated things. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you guys again. See you guys tomorrow. Join Discord for updates. Thank you, everyone. I see everyone in chat. There's so many people now. It's hard for me to go through everyone's names, but thank you guys. Thank you. Good night, guys. Good night. Thank you.